What is up, you guys? The Teller checking in for MMA Live Discussion Episode 5. We got a good one tonight. First and foremost, we got Eryk Anders joining. You guys have all seen that. I had that posted for a couple of days now. So we got Eryk Anders. He's going to be joining the show here very shortly. Just letting the room fill up, letting all you guys come in. And we also have a last-minute guest that's going to be joining us, Tim Sylvia. Tim Sylvia is going to be joining as well. For those of you guys that are not familiar with Tim Sylvia, he is a legend in the game, a guy that, in my opinion, should be a Hall of Famer. I mean, if you guys are relatively new to the sport, you might not be that familiar with him, but Tim Sylvia is a guy, man, that's a true legend in the game, a legit legend. So it's going to be great to catch up with Tim Sylvia, and he'll be coming on a little bit later. Just was chatting it up with him here a couple minutes ago. But as I said, Eryk Anders will be joining the show first, and that probably will happen here relatively soon. So in the meantime, man, we got a big card, UFC 250. It's going to be taking place. What up, brother? It's going to be taking – oh, we got Eryk. He's ready to go, man. We got Eryk. I'm going to throw him in here now, man. So what's up, Eryk?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just popping the show off. We got MMA Live Discussion Episode 5. It's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Man, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you joining. And, just to give you a little background, man, this is a show that I host here, and I try to get, up close and personal with all the UFC fighters and all types of mixed martial artists. And you're one of the guys that I definitely was targeting having on the show, man. I think a lot of people are fans of yours, just for everything that you bring to the table. Every time you step into the cage, a lot of people gravitate towards you. So I just wanted to have you on the show and let the fans learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the invite, man.
All right. Awesome, man. So, man. So basically, one way I like to start the show, man, let's get to the ground roots of Eryk Anders. So I seen you were born in the Philippines, which I found pretty interesting. Maybe you want to touch upon the beginnings of Eryk Anders, man, as a young buck?
Yeah, my mom was in the Air Force, so she kind of spit me out when she was stationed in the Philippines over there. Me and my younger brother, actually. And
Awesome.
I got another brother who was born in Spain, another brother born in California, sister born in Hawaii. We're all over the place. And
it's awesome.
Just kind of grew up traveling around, living different places, Japan, New Mexico, Texas, Maryland, Alabama. And I'm the fifth of six kids. And,
wow.
As I'm sure you can imagine, it gets pretty wild and crazy in the house sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Do you ever visit the Philippines? Ever, since back from when you were a kid?
Nah, man, we moved when I was like 2, so I don't have any recollection or I don't remember it at all.
Got you. All right. And then, everybody's, up to date with your whole football career, man. A lot of people know you were an Alabama linebacker, right? A linebacker over in Bama. Yeah. You won a national championship too, huh?
Yeah. My senior year, I kind of grew up a pretty big part of my life in Texas, and graduated high school in Texas, and lived in San Antonio, and that's like 90 miles away from Austin, where the University of Texas is. So for me, that game was, a little extra, had a little more, meaning to it, I think. Texas was my team, my squad. At the time, Vince Young and Ricky Williams were probably my favorite college football players of all time, especially after, Vince Young won that Rose Bowl. So to beat Texas in the Rose Bowl, obviously several years later, it was, man, almost a storybook ending to my college career.
Yeah, it's funny. So, I have some connections in certain ways. Like Nick Saban, I'm a diehard Dolphins fan, as you can see over here.
Okay.
So Nick Saban, he was the head coach of my team for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I played football in high school as well, so I can relate to you on, some of that. Obviously, I never made it to the, never played in college or anything like that. But I played cornerback and receiver, JV, back in high school. So I can relate to that a little bit. Let me ask you this. So when you were playing ball back in high school, I know at least here in South Florida, man, were you already like fighting when you were playing ball? Because at least in South Florida, like fighting was something that went hand in hand with playing football. We were regularly having fights, even teammates. You know, we used to always fight out back. One time, one of my games, we had a brawl with the other team. You know, we charged the
Oh,
field
wow.
after the game. We had a brawl in the field. Was that something you kind of dealt with? Were you already fighting when you were playing football, or what?
Man, yeah, I grew up fighting. I got 3 other brothers.
Oh,
I'm at
yeah.
the bottom of the totem pole, so you already know how that goes.
Yep, I got an older
Um,
brother.
Man, when I was in high school, I always carried 2 pairs of boxing gloves in my car because just young guys, teenage boys playing basketball or whatever, argument breaks out. But instead of somebody getting like seriously hurt, fighting each other with bare hands or whatnot, it went on over to the trunk. You got the red pair, you got the blue pair, and
Yeah.
let them duke it out. And man, it was just super fun. Yeah, you know, man, I think whenever you have like a large group, especially, man, I'm telling you, there's something about teenage boys that maybe it's because their testosterone is surging at this time. They're
Mm-hmm.
going through puberty or whatnot. I think it's just kind of a natural, like a primal thing in guys. Even as a matter of fact, even when I hear or meet grown men now who've never been in a fight, not even in high school or middle school or anything like that. To me that's weird. They think I'm weird for
Yeah.
fighting, but I'm just like, man, you've never been in a fight before.
Yeah.
Not even on like some like macho man type stuff, but man, just being a young dude, these situations just kind of occur. So I remember one day, like when I was in high school, we were on a block schedule, so we had 4 classes a day. The third class of every day was actual football practice, so we'd run down from the school into the locker room there, put on pads, shoulder pads, watch film, and go out there and have like a 12-period practice, hour and a half classes, hour and 45-minute classes or whatever. And then you walk back up to the school, eat lunch, and then you have your last class, and you can come down and practice again. When I was on my way up to lunch, one of my teammates was late for school or whatever, and he was driving his truck through the parking lot, and he bumped me, with his truck. He didn't
Oh.
like run me over or nothing, man. He's probably going like 2 miles an hour, but he kind of gave one of these numbers and swerved and hit me.
Yeah.
And I was eating my lunch. I had a bag of apples in my hand, and I, just had a like natural reaction or whatever. Man, I took the apples, like apple slices, and I Randy Johnson it straight through the window. Window was down, I just let it rip. And it hit him in his head, and the bag exploded. Just applesauce, just
Oh shit.
all over everywhere. So he threw the car in park, hopped out, and man, we probably got in like a 5-minute skirmish, if
Oh
that.
yeah.
And but the cool thing about when I got in a fight with other teammates, once it was over, it was over. We
Yeah.
got tired of hitting each other, and just kind of looked at each other and was like, "You done? You good? I'm good. Okay." And went up
Mm-hmm.
to lunch, and even after school is over, we come back down to practice. We're all cool. Everything's cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
fought
I
quite.
know the feeling. I know the feeling. It's a weird thing, man. Like when you're part of a football team, it really is kind of like a family. And I'm sure you know about that way more than me. But even just as a young kid, when I was 14, 15 years old, like I remember one time I got in a fight with one kid. His dad was kind of like an assistant coach, and we got in a little scuffle, whatever, in the parking lot after school. Next thing you know, his dad's coming up to me, and his dad was a really cool dude, a real good dude. And he had us squash it or whatnot. And this is somebody that like I would go to war with. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to
Yeah,
battle
for
these
sure.
other schools, the rival schools and whatnot. And like I said, like before you knew it, I'm getting in a fight with this other. The whole team is fighting this other school. We're all running around out there. And he's got my back, I got his back. But just a few weeks before that, we're fighting each other. But it really is like a family when you're out there, right? It's like you're a family.
Yeah, you guys, they do a lot of. At least my high school, we did a lot of like team building stuff that make you go through hell and back, or
Mm-hmm.
what you perceive to be hell, in terms of like wind sprints and lifting weights and things like that. So it's just a lifelong bond that myself and a lot of those guys have towards each other.
Yeah. What do you think about this as far as like the training that they used to put us through in high school? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm asking you your opinion, but like do you think they still put the kids nowadays through the training that they put us through? Because to my knowledge, I think there was a kid that died over here in South Florida. I forget if it was my old high school, but somewhere in South Florida, some kid died. And I know they started kind of trying to clean that up because our coaches would have us running nonstop. You know what I mean? Kids just yakking up, whatever. You think they still do the same things nowadays with the kids?
Man, really, the only thing I can compare it to is the way my high school was, and there's just no way that they can because, you know, we had literally 2 practices a day every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
2
were
a
on that
days.
block schedule. Now they're on the period schedule. Like they have 7 classes a day, so it's it's just not possible for them to have the kind of practices and the kind of conditioning and all the stuff that we did. Back in the day.
Yep. I hear you on that. Yeah, but I remember 2 a days, man, in summer camp down here in South Florida was hot.
Not even in college, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I believe it though. But a question I wanted to ask you. So, how about that head kick that you had on Tim Williams? Let me ask you, your old teammate, Lee Tiffin, the kicker. Did he give you a call after you hit him with that head kick? After you hit Tim Williams with that kick?
Actually, our punter, PJ
okay.
Reached out to me and I was telling jokes and we shared a good laugh over that.
Did he teach you any of the technique on that back in the day or what?
Nah. Specialists, they're in their own little world.
Mm-hmm.
They don't practice with us. Obviously, everybody's got different jobs and whatnot. So, well, we're over there practicing tackling or catching a football or whatever. They're practicing kicking and punting and holding and snapping and stuff. So, the rest of the team would be over here, and the specialists, like the kickers and the punters, the holders and the snappers should be over here, getting their operation time down and whatnot.
Let me ask you. So when you hit Tim with that kick, that's not something that obviously you probably wouldn't train something like that, right? I mean, that's something that was more just instinctual. I mean, you saw his head that was just sitting there, right? You just went for it.
Well, there were 2 or 3 times during the fight where he would be on his back. He was on his back. And, he would kick at me to, kind of make me back up or make some space to be able to stand up.
Mm.
And that last time, because I think there was only like 20-something seconds left on the clock, I think he just tried to get up because, he probably felt that he lost the round with that last knockdown. So he kind of got up, a little careless, a little reckless.
Mm-hmm.
And,
he got eaten up. Yeah. And let me ask you, so let's take a trip back to like your UFC debut, right? You take out, let me pull it up real quick. You take out a very skilled fighter, right? Yeah, Rafael Natal, very skilled jiu-jitsu practitioner who also has, he had good striking as well. You get that KO, right, in the first round. What's the difference between getting that UFC debut knockout compared to winning the national championship? Like if you can try to compare the two to each other.
Man, I think that the national championship, carries a little more weight for me because, that was the last game of my football, my college football career. So, and, I played against, the team the school that I wanted to go to in the most, probably the most famous bowl site that there is in the Rose Bowl. So, like I said earlier, man, it was pretty much a storybook ending for me. Playing Texas versus the opening chapter of my UFC career. So, to me, like when I watch movies and read books and stuff, it's the ending that makes or breaks the book for me. So, I don't think I could have wrote my college football career any better. Hopefully I can say the same thing at the end of my MMA career.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. Very, very interesting, man. Two pinnacles and 2 different sports that a lot of people wish they could ever reach, man. That's that's pretty amazing, having won a national championship, having reached the UFC and have had already now numerous wins in the UFC, have knocked opponents out, man. That's got to be a really good feeling. So I mean you won 2 of your last 3 fights. Something that I thought was pretty interesting, man, was the situation that's going on right now. I know you were trying to get your training, and it was pretty tough, right, for this last fight. I heard that you had a Karen sitting outside the building making phone calls.
Yeah, man. Corona. Yeah, we were training for the fight like in the middle of the Corona pandemic or whatever, and man, they closed all the gyms down. The only places that were open was like Lowe's and Home Depot and restaurants and grocery stores and whatnot. But the way I felt about it was I don't care what the politicians deem. What was the word that they were throwing around? Damn. There was a word they were throwing around with business, essential businesses and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, the essentials,
Well, to
right? Yeah.
me, fighting and training is essential, and I'm fighting.
Yeah.
It's not like, am I? I might. Like contract. I signed a contract with Jocko. Probably 3 or 4 times. We were supposed to fight in Portland, then we were supposed to fight in Vegas, then then it got moved to Jacksonville. So I was like, man, I'm
And
fighting.
just to touch upon what you're saying real quick, as far as something being essential, what could be more essential than preparing yourself? Because you're about to go to battle. If you don't prepare yourself, you know what I mean? You got another man that's trying to take you out, smash your head in, right? What's more essential than that, right? How many other jobs are more essential than that? That's crazy,
So, man, we said, screw it. And, man, we just kept training through it. And, we had a pretty nice gym with some big windows and whatnot, and there was a grocery store across the parking lot there. So, man, this lady pulled up to the door, hopped out and doing all this and into the door and whatnot. And, didn't ask anybody anything, just pulled up, looked inside, hopped back in the car. As soon as she turned around, she had her phone in her hand. We all knew what time it was. And sure enough, she drove off, and 5 minutes later, the police pulled up, told us we had to leave, gave us the whole, I don't want to do this speech, blah, blah, blah. But we said, all right, cool, we'll bounce. And as soon as he left, we finished up our training session, and then, man, pretty much just changed up our training times or whatnot so that we could still train because, Walt and I both fought, both had fights coming up. So, it was pretty essential for us to continue training and whatnot.
So yeah, I see that you've been training with Walt since the beginning. I know Walt. I'm pretty sure he's put some time down over here, down the street from me, over at American Top Team. You ever make your way down over here too, or no?
Man, I've been down there once. I went down there for like a 2-week thing. Okay. I was an amateur, and Walt was down there, and I went down there for 2 weeks while he was training and whatnot, just to go see what it was like to be at the be at a big gym like that with all those fighters from all these different places and whatnot. And but yeah, that's the only time I've been down there.
Okay. We got a question here from Neil. Neil goes, why your boy as a nickname?
Man, it's just kind of the way I talk. I said, come help your boy out. Let your boy hold $5. Your boy. And then a guy named who trains at the gym too, named Matt Elkins, he just started calling me your boy. And instead of it being like an expression, I'm sure, man, if you just listen to like people talk, like Tyron Woodley says it, like a lot of people say your boy, and but it just stuck with me, I guess.
And now you're like the whole world. You're the boy. Your boy. You're everyone's boy.
That's right.
The fans, bro. The fans gravitate to you like crazy, man. A lot of people I talk to are big fans of yours. Me being one as well, man. And
man, I think it's that they appreciate the a lot of people say I'll fight whoever, whenever, but then they don't ever do it. I made my debut on 10 days notice. I fought Thiago Santos on 6 days notice, and I've never said no to a contract regardless of weight class. And when I get in there and fight, it's forward pressure, heavy leather, and intensity. And I think that's what people want to see when they see fights.
Yeah, speaking of that, Will Salinas says, tell him I get notice to him and respect him for taking the fight with Santos. That was a battle at 205, and that was an epic fight.
Yeah, it's, even though I lost, those fights are fun to me. It's not fun to fight the guys that like backpedal, run, and try and point fight. Like, I'm out here to, I'm not trying to kill nobody or hurt anybody, but I am trying to separate you from consciousness. You'll get back up, you'll recover, it'll be all good, it'll be all right. So those guys, those are my favorite. Those are my fights that I like to fight, and there wasn't a whole lot of bullshit in that fight. From
Mm-hmm.
the time the bell rang to the end of that third round, it was, I feel like nonstop action. So, like I said, win or lose, those are my kind of fights.
Yeah, and it kind of brings us to your last fight, right? The Christoph Jocko fight. That was the fight, man, that I was watching. I thought the fight was extremely close, first off, but just for the sheer fact, bro, you were the one chasing him around the octagon the entire fight. You were trying to engage. This guy was backpedaling the entire time. I mean, like, what are your thoughts on a fight like that, right? Like, you don't get your hand raised, but this guy is just backpedaling the entire time. He really didn't do anything to you, didn't do any type of damage to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be frustrating, right? I mean, this guy.
I try to look at things from both sides. Did I control most of the fight? Yes. But, I've thought to myself as I'm watching other fights, like if I'm just holding you against the cage, yes, I'm controlling. But no takedowns, not a lot of damage done to him either. So, man, I don't know. Unanimous decision, definitely not. But regardless, unanimous or split decision, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think they could have flipped the coin and picked the winner in that fight.
That's how I felt.
Like I said, I didn't get any takedowns. I'm not sure how they decide what a takedown attempt is because, I don't think I attempted 10 takedowns. I think I landed one takedown on the first round. They didn't give me credit for that. Maybe because I didn't hold them down. I don't know. But, I think you have to, get takedowns and do damage if you're holding them up against the cage. And I don't think that I necessarily did that.
Yeah. And it's so tricky, like you say, man, because like, what about the situations where you're kind of going in for a takedown, but sometimes you even want to kind of fake a takedown or you're hesitating on a temporary takedown just to give that threat, right? You want to keep him thinking about, the fact that you're changing levels and you want to set up your striking as well. And then you got judges maybe looking into that, right? Because you want to keep your fighter guessing. It's really a tricky thing,
Man, I think, in hindsight, after watching the fight several times, what I should have done is, press him up against the cage because he was, really easy to hold against the cage, but like separate and fire more, I kind of think it was almost similar to the Machida fight, just a lot less strikes, I think. But I definitely every time I lose a fight, I think I could have done more. If I go to a decision, I feel like I could have done more, even if I win the decision, which usually doesn't go my way.
Speaking of that, man, the Machida fight, that was one of the worst robberies that I remember in the past, however long time, that was disgusting, that decision. I remember that. And at the time, man, you're undefeated. You're going into that fight. Where'd that fight take place? Was that fight in Brazil?
Yeah, it was in Belém, where he's from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what that was right from the get-go, you know what I mean? Because that was a fight. I remember watching you, man. I was like, you won that fight hands down, period. And everyone felt like that. You know what I mean? If you go back and you see the percentage of real fight fans that vote on who won a fight, it was like ridiculous. Like nobody had Machida. You know what I mean? And it's disgusting that the judges pull stuff like that off still to this day.
Man, the thing that hurts the most when you lose those close decisions is I only get half my check, man. That's what hurts me. I truly do see fighting as a competition. Like, there's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser. Of course, I'm trying to go out there and win and knock somebody's head off. But, when you lose a fight that, man, anywhere else on the planet you probably won, and you go home with half a check, oh, my God.
Man.
It hurts.
No, it's tough, right? All right. That check goes straight to your family, bro. That's personal, Yeah. And I don't know what we can do to clean that up. I thought about trying to become a judge myself. It's probably something that I can never do because I kind of run like part of what my whole channel is about like betting on MMA. So I'm pretty much figured that I can never even do anything like that. But something needs to be cleaned up. You know what I mean? They need to clean it up, period. They need ex-fighters doing that stuff.
I think that's the way to do it, man. You just get guys. Well, first of all, there is no MMA commission. It's an athletic commission, and it's usually a boxing commission. So the way you would score, if I'm a boxing official, I don't know anything about grappling and takedowns and submissions and whatnot. So how can I fairly judge? Like if I'm a boxing judge, a boxing official, and I'm judging one of Damian Maia's fights, how can I gauge that? If he doesn't submit the guy, and he spends the whole time on the guy's back. Like how they don't know anything. So
Mhm.
I think there should be a certain criteria. MMA needs their own commission, or own officials. I would say somebody
Yeah.
who's maybe Herb Dean gives a seminar on how to judge fights, or whatever. I don't have the answer, but I think that the answer is somewhere along those lines. Ex-fighters or former fighters, guys who don't fight anymore, and MMA needs their own officials.
Yep. Yeah, man, I agree 100%. Neil the security, he says if he could hand pick his next opponent, who would it be? I don't know if you have an opponent in mind.
Man, to be honest, man, I just had eye surgery yesterday, so man, I'm probably done for the next foreseeable future. So I'm not even thinking about. I get to be a fan for the next few months.
All right.
I can't lift anything over 20 pounds or anything. So I don't know, dude. Man, my answer, dog. I'll fight whoever, whenever. I think that whole hand-picking opponents is kind of bullshit. Unless, if somebody hires anybody in the top 15, I'll definitely fight any one of those guys. But, I really don't think I'm in the position right now coming off a loss to, be like, I want to fight that guy. I want to fight this guy, The world is a different place when you're coming off a win and when you're coming off a loss, as I'm sure you can imagine. It's almost like the lonely life of a kicker, Kicker misses the game-winning field goal. Everybody ready to kill him. Phone silent. People talking shit.
Yeah.
But he hits that game winner. All
He's the
the
man.
girls trying to fuck him.
Yep.
Everybody hitting his phone. He a celebrity, So, that's just the nature of the business. So, I'm just a fan for the next few months. And, once I get back into the groove of things and start training and, my eye heals up and whatnot, then we'll take a look at the middleweight division and see where everybody's at and what's going on and see what I can make happen.
Okay. So, I will say this, right? Like I put a lot of time into the MMA game, obviously on a whole different aspect of the fight game, but I put a lot of time into this and into watching the MMA game, the UFC and all that. I will say this to you. As far as you saying that you're coming off a loss, and how people may perceive you at this time, I will say, in my opinion, you're one of the few fighters, and honestly, I say that the few fighters that even coming off a loss, you in that fight, you still brought the fight, you brought that energy. I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards you, even though you lost that fight. You losing that fight, I don't think it's as big of a deal as it is compared to other fighters. Sometimes we see some fighters, they win a fight, and I feel like they're more in the doghouse even after winning a fight than even you losing that fight and the performance you had, because you brought the energy, you brought the fight, you do time and time again. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of fans, and I'm just saying this. I think if you really wanted a top 15 opponent, if you called your shot, I don't see any reason why the UFC shouldn't support you on that, because the fans are what matters, and the fans definitely support you, and that's what I'm getting on my end, man.
Yeah, sure. If they give me a top 15 guy, we're in there. If they
Okay.
give me the last ranked guy, we're in there.
Yeah.
Anybody in between, it really doesn't matter. I truly enjoy the preparation that goes into fighting. I love the actual fight because the hay's in the barn. You just get to go out there and put all your skills and stuff to the test. So
Yep.
yeah, I thoroughly enjoy and love what it is that I do, and will step in there with anybody.
Like for example, you think about another middleweight fighter, man, ex-UFC fighter, Elias Theodorou. Elias Theodorou was a guy that went out there, man. He won almost every fight that he was in, right? He loses one fight, cut. You know what I mean? And like, as far as I'm concerned, you're the exact opposite of that. It doesn't even really matter like what you got going on. Well, first and foremost, you won 2 of your last 3 fights anyway, but you know what I'm saying? But like, you're a guy that no matter what, you step in there, bro. It's everybody wants to tune in and watch you fight. Period. People want to tune in. So that goes a long way, bro.
Sure. I think that people really enjoy watching other people get knocked out, and they know that anytime that I step in there, there's a chance of that happening to me or the other guy. I got really fucked up against Roundtree, so I think that the knockout and the slugfests are what people at this juncture in MMA, because I don't think that there's like not everybody's educated enough about the whole aspect of MMA, but everybody knows what boxing is. Everybody knows what kickboxing is. Everybody knows what it looks like when somebody's winning a boxing match, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even me personally, I think it's more entertaining to watch people, you know, strike and get knocked out and whatnot. So, I think that my style just naturally is a popular style amongst people.
Yep. All right, man. I don't want to keep you too long, but I know there's one question I gotta ask you because I had like at least 5 people DM me. I got people commenting in my chat over here. Where is it at? Everybody wants to know. Well, first and foremost, you guys got to respect the fact, you know what I'm saying? Eryk Anders is a married man, but everybody wants to know, how is it? I didn't even know who this chick was. I guess it's a friend of yours, but everyone's like, how is it hanging out with where is she? Kendra Luss. Yeah, man. Everyone, I guess they want you to hook them up. They're like, hook them up with a double date, bro.
Oh man, tell me I slide in her DMs.
Slide in the DMs.
Man, but to be honest, Kendra and my wife are really good friends. And just because, you know, given what she does, you know, it's hard for her to have friends, I think, just because other women are jealous. They don't want their husband or boyfriend or whatever hanging out with adult film stars. And my wife, she's very secure and, you know, a very strong woman. So, you know, she doesn't have any of these insecurities. And you know, they became friends. Then we went out and hung out and had a good time and whatnot. And, you know, we're all just cool.
That's awesome. And just to touch upon that a little bit more too, man, I saw your post earlier today, man. That's something special that you got going on. I seen the whole post that you put together, man. That's something that I admire. You know, it's not like, you know, the type of relationship where you got these girls, you know, looking for money, this and that, man. You know, your chick was with you from day one. Didn't matter about all the extra type of stuff, man. It's just about what you two had. And that's something that a lot of people admire.
She's been very a pretty big piece in the, you know, cog and the way that things work, you know. She makes it super easy. You know, I've had girlfriends in the past, you know, I would tell them like, you know, this is what I do, you know, and I was just an amateur. I had just turned pro whenever I met my wife, but man, she would just see me get up in the morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, go train, go to work, go from work back to the gym, then come home and be dog tired. And she just saw the grind that I was putting in, and she never asked me to train less. You know, I've had girlfriends in the past, you know, why you train so much? You don't have time for me, this, that, and the third. And man, it's as soon as I heard that and had that conversation with her, I knew the relationship was over because, you know, this is what I want to do, you know, and this is what makes me happy. And she saw that. She never like asked me to change or anything. She actually made me quit my job that I had. She didn't make me, but I think I was like 27 whenever I met her, and she was like, you know, you're not a spring chicken anymore. You know, you're not getting anything. So quit your job, work at the gym, you know. In the meantime, in between time, I got us and give it 2 years. That's what she said. She said, give it 2 years if the shit doesn't work, and you can go, you know, you can go back to work anytime. And sure enough, in less than 2 years, I was in the UFC.
That's what's up, man. And real quick, man, before I let you go, I just want to throw this out there. I'm going to pull up the UFC middleweight rankings right now, right? And I just want to get your thoughts on a potential matchup. You know what I mean? Just curious what you think about it, right? You know, so we got, okay, here we go. We got Ian Heinisch, right? Ian Heinisch is taking on, this weekend, he's taking on Gerald Meerschaert. If Ian Heinisch, I know you guys never locked horns. Gerald Meerschaert, you guys locked horns. You already beat him, right? So let's say, and just let you know right now, the teller, I already did my breakdown video. I got Ian Heinisch winning that fight. Say Ian Heinisch pulls off a victory.
Ian got hurt or something. Ian pulled out of the fight.
Oh, did he? He pulled out of that fight?
Yeah.
No, I was looking forward to seeing that fight too, man. I didn't even see that.
They got a newcomer fighting Gerald.
Okay. You know who that is? Breaking news here on the show. You know who that is?
I can't remember the guy's name.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right. That was just a fight that I thought made some sense for you too. But all right, we'll see how that goes. You know, we'll see who your next opponent is. I know Uriah Hall's up there in the top 10 as well. I know he had a fight that was recently canceled as well too, right? So you got a couple of these guys that got some fights.
Got coronavirus.
So, all right. Well, we'll definitely all be watching you, bro. We'll be paying a lot of attention to see who we get you matched up with next, man. We'll all be tuning in. We'll be rooting you on. And
appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the support, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Eryk Anders, man. Thank you.
Later.
All right, guys. There it was. Eryk Anders, man. That was a good one, man. That guy's that's a real fighter right there, man. Eryk Anders. I'm definitely excited to see who they match him up against next. Yeah, Ian Heinisch, bro. He withdrew earlier today. That's right. I didn't catch that. Ian Heinisch withdrew from UFC 250 after Quarterman test positive for COVID. That's the reason. Damn. Oh, he could still be cleared to compete. Okay. So Arseny, breaking news here for us. So the fight is still possible, man. Yeah, man. I've been running around all day today. Very busy day for me. I did not catch that. I've been setting up for the show. So for those of you guys that don't know, man, I got Tim Sylvia who's going to be joining the show here in a minute. I'm going to reach out to Tim right now. Comment right now. Do you guys even know who Tim Sylvia is? I know some of you guys are relatively new to the game. The real OGs who've been watching MMA from the very beginning. You guys, they know who Tim Sylvia is. Tim Sylvia, one of my most favorite fighters in UFC, man. Tim Sylvia, back in the day, bro. This was a guy, two-time UFC heavyweight champion. This is a guy that's went to war with the best of them. I mean, he's locked horns with all types of guys, you name it. Andre Arlovsky, Frank Mir, the real OGs of the heavyweight division. This is a guy, in my opinion, that doesn't really get the credit he deserves. That's how I feel about it. Not just saying that because he's coming on the show. That's how I feel about it. This is a guy that I think should be a UFC Hall of Famer. Why not? And he's not a Hall of Famer still right now. So Arlovsky versus Silva. So yeah, man, let me reach out to Tim right now. We'll touch base with him. What else do we got going on, man? UFC 250, man. Let's get the comments going, man. Everybody that's in here right now, if you guys could, please hit that like button. Please like the video. And yeah, man. Reaching out to Tim right now. This one, I'm telling you, for me, this one's special. I'm telling you guys, man. Tim Sylvia. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar with him, you really want to, if you have UFC Fight Pass or, nowadays you could pretty much watch every single fight regardless anyway. If you catch my drift, pull up those Tim Sylvia fights, man. If you have time on your hands, you want to watch some wars, you want to watch the OGs of the game. Tim Sylvia, man, so just message him now. We'll wait on him to respond. He just actually shared me in his story as well. So Tim Sylvia is showing support. And he's got a little something going on too. For those of you guys that haven't seen it yet, man. So we're going to touch upon this when he comes on the show, but Tim Sylvia had his arm broke. Frank Mir had him in an armbar. You'll never see fighters do something the way that Tim Sylvia did, what he did. Basically, he was in an armbar by Frank Mir, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners, period. Forget about the heavyweight division, just period. One of the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners in the game. He literally catches him in the armbar. He snaps his arm, snaps his forearm, literally snaps this bone right here. Okay? You know what Tim Sylvia does? Tim Sylvia doesn't tap out for nothing. The referee, I believe it was Herb Dean too. Herb Dean stops the fight. I may be wrong if it was Herb Dean, but stops the fight. Might have been Dan Mergliotti, but whatever. Stops the fight because he just saw the way that Tim Sylvia's arms bent. That's why he stopped the fight. It wasn't even like Tim Sylvia he didn't even make that grunt like nothing, because as far as that's concerned, that is a tappage as well. You're tapping out. If you're screaming like that, the referee is going to stop the fight. That wasn't even the case. Run the tape back. Tim Sylvia was just eating it. But literally, I believe it was Herb Dean. He saw his arm bent and he saw how it was broken, and he just stopped the fight. And Tim looked at him, and then he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, man? I'm fighting right now, man. I'm the heavyweight fucking champ. You know what I mean? I'm a savage. I mean, tell me a UFC fighter right now. Comment a UFC fighter that would have his forearm broken in an armbar by Frank Mir that wouldn't tap. Nowadays, these guys tap immediately. They're not like the old school fighters, the old school UFC fighters that would literally have their arm broken. They would still be ready to brawl. There's guys that have had broken arms and broken limbs back in the day. You don't see it. Not to take anything away, because there's some guys that are still like that. It's not even so much the fighters too. It also has to do with just the entire game. Actually, really, it might just be the fighters. I don't know. But Minotauro. Oh, thank you, Minotauro, man. Another one, right? Frank Mir dislocates his entire shoulder at the socket, and Nogueira ain't tapping for nothing. Dude, Nogueira, you would have to chop his head off before he would tap. Like, legitimately, you'd have to decapitate him. Those are the OGs of the game. It's not the same. It's not the same. Really think about it for a second, and I don't want to throw shade because it's not everybody. It's not all the new UFC fighters, but the old school guys were really cut from a different cloth. A lot of those guys. But then you got guys like Eryk Anders, who was just on the show. Eryk Anders is a savage. I don't think Eryk Anders is really tapping out like that either. Eryk Anders is a guy that you got to take him out. So there are those guys that are still out there like that. Lawler. Yeah, Lawler. Look at Lawler, right? A savage. But he tapped to Verdum. Who tapped to Verdum? Did Tim tap to Verdum? I mean, every situation is different, too. That's why I wanted to be careful how I touch upon that. But let's see. Because I'm sure Tim Sylvia's tapped, but still, you can't take nothing away from him for still. That situation that he was in, broken arm, and not tapping. There's just not a lot of guys that will do that, period. Run the tape back, watch that video. There's not a lot of guys that are going to do that. I mean, people are going to tap very, very early in that situation. So the armbar, that took place back in 2004. That armbar against Frank Mir. I'm going to try to pull up. Somebody said Fabricio Verdum, but I think he's referring to somebody else. Maybe referring to the Nogueira fight. I think, he ain't talking about Tim Sylvia. Tim Sylvia, I don't see nothing like that. Bill brings up a point, man. It was a different game back in the day, brother. It was a whole different game. Wasn't really that wasn't really as big of a deal as you're making it seem. Like nowadays, yes, that was a big deal. Back then, it really wasn't a big deal at all. I mean, you're talking about multiple different eras. Like the era that you're talking about was first off a completely different era than even another era that transpired after that, where then you had like people doing TRT shots and all that, and it was still technically legal. And then now, of course, it's completely banned. But I mean, how can you really throw shade at the guy for a situation that happened to him where, he's from the old school, man. It was a different time. You can't really throw too much dirt at the guy for that. Tim Sylvia is a tough dude, man. And he'll be joining the show here very, very shortly. I'm going to open up the show in the meantime until Tim comes on. We got a lot to talk about. We got UFC 250. This is a card that I'm extremely excited about. Extremely excited about. I got 2 plays locked in for UFC 250. I feel extremely confident about these 2 plays. I feel very good at the odds I'm getting, especially one in particular. It's going to be another profitable night. And the link's there. If somebody wants to jump in, man, if you guys got any questions, we could touch upon UFC 250. If not, while we're waiting for Tim, I will pull up the card and we could talk some stuff, man. There's a couple different things I want to talk about. The link is posted. Join the chat, brothers. In the meantime, I want to touch upon the co-main event of the evening. Cody Garbrandt taking on Rafael Assunção. How do you guys feel about this fight, right? I'll tell you how I feel about it. I think that as long as Cody doesn't get knocked out, I don't see him losing this fight. I don't see Cody losing this fight. I think that Cody, his striking is so crisp. If you've been watching Cody, man, training up for this fight, and even just in the last couple of days, man, hitting the pads and whatnot, his boxing is serious. I mean, he's really looking crisp. So, but you're really banking on the fact, is he not going to get knocked out, right? We're going to bring a guest on. We got the one and only Arseny.
What's up, bro? What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, man? Just hanging out. We got the show's cruising. Just waiting on Tim Sylvia to join. He might be a little bit. He just messaged me a little bit ago, so just waiting on Tim. How's everything going with you?
Good. Hey, man. By the way, I didn't get I didn't see the second pick because I saw one of them, but I didn't see the second one. Oh, you yet to send it? Got it.
Yeah.
Got you. No worries.
Coming.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say.
I would announce it right here. I actually just made that second pick official, and actually, I'm going to send it over to you as we speak.
Awesome.
Just made that official. Yeah. So watch this, and tell me what you. Just give me a little look, and I'm curious what you think about it. Oh no, I did send it to you.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, my bad. I probably just missed it.
You got it? Because I see that I sent it.
Let me see.
If you didn't, I'll send it again though.
No, I'll check.
All right. Yeah, sent it at 10:14 p.m. on Tuesday.
Oh, I think I saw just one. I think I just saw one, but
yeah. I'll send it again if anything. But yes, but all right, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel good about it. I really put a lot of time in on the tape. I feel good about it.
Give
me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you got it or not, because I'll send it again if you didn't get it. I sent it to your cell, to the cell number.
Okay, got you. All right. Whatever. What's called? On another note, I was gonna tell you, man. I just saw that. What's it called? Tyron Woodley said he accepted a fight with Colby Covington. Did you see that?
I don't think he wants that fight. I'll tell you what, man. I didn't see that actually. No, I didn't. But I'll tell you what. If he does take that fight, we're going in on that. We are going in on Colby. We got it right.
Yeah. No, I thought so too.
Depending on where the line would be, though, because you know what, man. Honestly, after Woodley's last performance, that line might even be as high for Colby. It might be as high as like a minus 300. And people might laugh at that right now, but I'm dead serious. That line might be like a minus 250, 260 for Colby. Comment below right now. Where do you think that line should be? How confident do you guys feel that Colby wins that fight? Because I feel damn well confident Colby will destroy him. Colby will take him down at will. Woodley's going to be circling around the fence. And you know what's funny? Now everybody sees that. Now everybody's going to be on that side of the fence. But I was telling you guys this way before the Gilbert Burns fight, where everyone thought, oh, it was a fluke. You know, Usman's a beast. Nah, I already knew that was the case, man. I knew Gilbert Burns was going to do that to him. Woodley's got one foot out the door, but I mean, he's still saying that he's ready to throw down with Colby. He does not want that fight, man. He does not want that fight.
No, I definitely think that. I definitely agree with you. I feel like there's no reason that Colby would lose, but I feel like the line actually might not be that bad because I know a lot of people are always like, high on Tyron Woodley. Like, I mean, you really think it would be as low as minus 300? I thought it would be minus 200.
I mean, MMA locker room says 270.
270?
You got Bill saying 310.
Okay.
I think it would open more around like the lower 200s, like 230, 240 maybe.
Oh, and then go up around.
And I mean, but if people were, I would, maybe I would, depending on how much it would blow up at. I mean, you got the casuals too, man, that are big Woodley fans, so they might keep it reasonable.
Yeah.
But as far as where I will cap that fight, I mean, I'm just rambling right now, but off the top of my head, with that really hitting the books, I got Colby on that fight like at least minus 270, 250. I think when I saw Woodley just fight in his last fight, man, and I saw it in the Usman fight too, man, he's like mentally gone, bro. He's not there, bro. And he still has that power overhand shot. That overhand right is a shot it's so hard to hit people with, especially when they know that that's what your main move. That's all he does. He circles around the cage and then he throws that overhand right. I mean, and that's all you got. I mean, so if you're half conscious out there, you're Colby Covington, you're watching out for that right overhand. And as long as that doesn't hit you, which when you know it's coming at you, man, you can dodge that. How do you get caught by that? And then after that, Colby's definitely getting double legs, against the cage. Yeah. He's getting double legs. He's scooping them down. And actually, I think he's doing a lot more damage with his takedowns than Gilbert even did, for sure. Now, let's not get it twisted. Gilbert is a young, promising fighter who's been looking really good, but he's not Colby Covington with the grappling, as far as the grappling goes. I'm not talking about jiu-jitsu or whatnot. I'm talking about takedowns, ground and pound. Like, Colby's going to be on top of Woodley, just like, it's going to be ugly.
No worries. No.
I'm here, brother.
No, I was just going to say, man, you know what I was surprised about? That Colby didn't try to throw in the grappling or the wrestling against Kumar Usman. Like, I was surprised that he didn't try to use it at all. Especially like, I the way I saw it, that fight play out, is I felt like he was winning the earlier rounds, but Usman definitely had the power advantage. So when they started kind of going tit for tat, I felt like Colby was in a worse spot. So I felt like it would have been better because I think that as good as Usman's cardio is, I feel like Colby is on another level. So I'm surprised he didn't try to like out grapple Usman, or at least, try to get him tired by just holding Usman down, or trying to, just attempting the takedowns, just trying to throw it in there. It's just, I thought it was a little dangerous for him to try to play a striking match against a stronger guy, So yeah, that's how I felt. I was surprised, man. I thought he would win that fight if maybe in like definitely in round 3, but maybe even earlier, start throwing in some takedowns, or start throwing in some, or whatever, just fake it, or even just even pushing him against the cage, rather than just kind of having a striking match, a kickboxing match in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of weird. It's like Colby kind of respected his wrestling. They both kind of knew that they both had, very, very high level wrestling. I guess they feel like it kind of nullified each other, and they wanted just to see who was the better striker. The only thing I could say is that, in my opinion, Colby was winning that fight in regards to the striking pretty much the whole time. So yeah, I mean, why change things up? And then he ended up getting caught, and he blew the fight, and then a fight that he really had in the bag. Yeah, in my opinion, that's how I felt about it. And that was actually one of my plays. I'm always transparent about my plays. That was a play of mine. I think it might have been a 3 or 4 unit play. And I got him as like high as like plus 165. And real quick, bro, Tim Sylvia did just message me. So he should be coming here really, really shortly. But just touching upon that fight again, like, here, yeah, I got Tim in here. He's in here. So I'm going to bring him in, Arseny. All right, brother? We'll catch up after.
This is live.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? How's everything going?
I'm doing all right. Trying to figure out if I'm doing this all right. My fiance wants to know if this is this live right now or what?
Yes, this is live. We're on YouTube. Yeah. Yep. YouTube. This is live, and then after this is streamed live, it will be posted on my channel as well. So we'll get hundreds of views on this even after it's recorded. So there'll be people watching this. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I want to say it's an absolute honor to have you on my show, man. I've been a big fan of yours from the very beginning. I've been messaging on your Instagram for some time now, and it's just an honor to have you on, first and foremost.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Yeah,
man. One of the true pioneers in the game. For those of you guys that don't realize, Tim Sylvia, because a lot of people that are in my show, not to throw shade at any of them, but a lot of these people might be relatively new, to the sport of the of MMA and the UFC and whatnot. Tim Sylvia is a 2-time heavyweight champion. This is one of the pioneers. 5-time UFC champion.
Yes, sir.
How did I mess that up?
Because we count title.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Yes. Excuse me. When I say 2-time, I mean 2-time you won the belt. So yeah, including your defending of the belt. That's right. 5-time. You're right. You're right. 5-time UFC heavyweight champion.
One of the little things that us champions do.
Yes.
Pat and Jens, we all do it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I respect that. You're right. So 5-time heavyweight champion. I think that it's ridiculous, actually, from what I was looking at, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not a UFC Hall of Famer. I think that's ridiculous. If you look at some of the other fighters that are Hall of Famers, how are you not a Hall of Famer?
Because Dana White and I don't get along.
Yeah, all politics. Exactly. Politics.
Yeah, it's not the UFC Hall of Fame. It's the Dana White Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense, because if you look at the Hall of Fame, obviously, I mean, they're all amazing fighters, but there's a couple guys that are in there that it doesn't make any sense that you would have some of these guys in there, compared to a Tim Sylvia. So
and don't get me wrong, I love Stephan Bonner, but I think Stephan's in the Hall of Fame. I used to like Matt Serra. We talked a lot of crap to my boy Matt Hughes, and now I just think he's a turd. And I mean, he never defended his title, so technically he was never a champion. Anybody can win the belt. Only champions can defend it. So he got lucky against St. Pierre, and then when St. Pierre came back, St. Pierre put a whooping on him and took the belt back.
Yep. Oh, he sure did.
Come up after that too. So
yeah. Sarah's a guy. I'm a fan of his, so I don't want to talk. Throw him under the bus or whatnot. But
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, no, but the things you're saying are very accurate. The things you're saying are very accurate. So
Right. I mean, even Pat Miletich just got into the Hall of Fame, and poor Jens Pulver, he was the first ever lightweight champion and bantamweight champion. He's not in there. Frank Shamrock should definitely be in there out of all of us.
oh yeah,
And he's not in
oh
there.
yeah, yep. Yeah, and as we're talking about this, so I'm pulling up some of the UFC Hall of Famers that we have, and of course, man, all amazing fighters. Of course, Matt Hughes is in there. I mean, there's no question. Matt Hughes, Pat Miletich, he's like you said, just yeah. But you got guys like Maurice Smith. I mean, excellent fighters. Not to beat it, not to beat a dead horse, but Tim Sylvia needs to be a UFC Hall of Famer. Period. It's not even a question. So do you think that's something that ever happens? Or you think it's just like it's done?
I don't think it'll ever happen unless I'm still alive at 80. Then, Dana White's dead and somebody comes along and puts me in there. But I think, no, I don't think it'll ever happen.
Okay. Because, I mean, to my knowledge, I'm trying to see if somebody rings a bell, but I thought there was a couple fighters, or at least one fighter, that they didn't really get along, but he still threw them in the Hall of Fame. It might have been Rich Franklin. Tito Ortiz. Yeah, there we go. Yes. There you go. So, I mean, why throw Tito in there if you're not going to throw Tim Sylvia? I mean, maybe it is more likely than you think. I don't know.
I just think they kind of had to, Tito, especially when they brought him back. They brought him back to do some stuff. I think just kind of it was inevitable to put him in there. And he fought, Randy and Chuck, who are both in the UFC Hall of Fame. I think the only people that I've ever fought that are in the Hall of Fame is Randy.
Frank Mir? Is Frank not in the Hall of Fame yet?
I don't think Frank is in the Hall of Fame. Nogueira, Kowalski, Jeff Munson, any of those guys. I think once some of those guys start coming in, maybe my name might get bounced around or something. But as of right now, all the heavyweights that I fought, the only one that's in the Hall of Fame is Couture.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it as you speak too. So yeah, you're correct. Those guys aren't in the Hall of Fame. So, my personal thoughts, maybe it's a little bit more likely than you think. You're right, because Andre Arlovsky is a guy. I mean, he's still fighting, but that's a guy that should make it. Frank Mir has to be a Hall of Famer. So maybe it'll be another wave. Maybe there'll be another wave that comes relatively soon.
Yeah, man. Breath.
Yeah.
Especially with this whole arm break. The whole problem with my arm right now and stuff, and it's getting a lot of waves and stuff, and people are talking and stuff, and can't figure out why the UFC won't pay for it and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So just to bring everybody up to date, So for those of you guys that don't remember the fight between Sylvia and Frank Mir, an epic fight, and in my mind, even though I know you lost that fight, that's still an amazing fight for you, because I was talking about this earlier. There's not a lot of fighters that are caught in an armbar like that react to it the way that you do back in the day. I was talking about that earlier, how you're a real old school fighter, man. You're just looking down at it. I remember you looking over at the referee. I don't know if you could shed some light too. Was it Herb Dean or was it Dan Mergliotti? I forget.
It was Herb.
It was Herb. Yeah, and he stops the fight, and you're looking at him like he's a madman, and meanwhile your arm snaps in two, right? And but that's the difference between like the old school fighters, man, like you, somebody that's extremely tough. I'm sure you still wanted to throw down, right? You weren't ready to stop at all.
I actually thought we were gonna be able to restart it. I knew it broke, but I was just faking it. I'm like, no, it's fine. Let's go. Let's Let's get this fight going. And Frank's like, we'll do it again. I'm like, no, we'll do it right now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing.
The ring, and Pat's like, is your arm broken? I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, well, keep raising it. Let him think it's not. I'm like, oh, I am. We're good.
Yeah.
Until I went out of the cage, I kept my hand raised out of the ring, and some fan gave me a high five in that broken arm, and I wanted to cry.
Oh. Yeah, man, that's got to be tough. So and then you have surgery, and just to keep everybody up to date, right? You have surgery on your arm, your forearm, right? And the screws are starting to kind of come out, right, or something. What's going on?
Yeah, they've taken a lot of damage. I kept fighting for years after I had the surgery and stuff, and now the screws are coming out and they're causing a lot of problems. They're getting infected and they're staying open. They won't close up. And saw my doctor, and he's just like, Tim, we really need to take that plate out. It's infected, and I don't want your bone to get infected. I don't want to have to amputate your arm. So, we got to do this on Tuesday. So I'm having emergency surgery on Tuesday to get the plates taken out. I don't have medical insurance, and so I was just like, it's not that I don't have the money. I mean, I got 10 grand, but it's my savings, I've got, 10, probably 14,000 in the bank. So once I pay this 10 grand, now I go on a payment plan, and how long before I get the rest of it paid off. And, that's kind of my cush money, if something bad happens, I guess like this, or if a vehicle breaks down or something, or your furnace goes out in your house or something, that's why you have those kind of savings. And I'm not really asking for a handout, but I'm kind of hoping the UFC gets it and gets some traction, and maybe they'll pick up the medical bills and pay for it. My fiance is the one that set up the account, and there's been a lot of amazing fans, and they're donating to it right now on my Instagram.
Okay.
Tim Sylvia MMA1, but I think it's up to like 10 grand right now, and that's what I got to pay on Tuesday when I go.
Awesome.
And so the fans have just been amazing, man. They're actually taking this huge burden off my back. Some people have said, why should the UFC pay for it? Well, and it's basically like workman's comp, if you're working outside and on the construction site and the 2x4 falls down, hits your leg and breaks it, the workman's comp is going to cover it and pay for it. 10 years down the road, if you're having problems and you don't sign off on that thing, workman's comp has to pay for it. So this is kind of where we're at right now. And my doctor reached out to the UFC, and they said, no, he doesn't fight for us anymore. So we're not covering it. We're not taking care of it. And that's kind of where we're at, man.
And you know what? Not to like pick and choose, because I don't want to make it seem like one fighter compared to another fighter that they shouldn't be taken care of. But like, you're Tim Sylvia. You're one of the guys that the UFC brand, it was built upon your back. You know what I'm saying? Like this entire brand was built off guys like you. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was such an epic fight. I mean, these are some of the most major fights that have taken place in the history of the game that has brought the game to where it is nowadays. So I'm sorry, but this is a little bit different than just like some basic prelim years ago. I mean, this is Tim Sylvia, who had his arm broke by Frank Mir. And I completely agree that they should help you out with that. It's a damn shame that they're not.
I agree. There's actually been some UFC employees that have actually pitched into the GoFundMe. So I know the UFC knows about it. They're just turning a blind eye to it right now.
Okay, and just to touch upon that again, because I didn't know about that. So you have a GoFundMe. Where can everybody that's watching this video, where can they find this GoFundMe account?
The GoFundMe is on my Instagram, Tim Sylvia MMA1. It's obviously on my Twitter, Tim Sylvia MMA1. It's on my Facebook. Like I said, my girlfriend started it. My fiance, sorry. She started it up for me. She knew I was too proud to do it myself. And that's where we're at. And just the fans have been absolutely amazing. I just can't believe the love we've been getting from it and stuff. And it's I'm not asking for a handout. I want to be clear with that, and the fans know that too. They're like, don't consider this a handout. This is just us showing you how much we love you and how much appreciation we have for you. And here's $5. If every one of my fans, I have 18,000 fans on Instagram. If everyone, chipped in $1, that's $18,000. That'll cover my costs. That's all it is. And they're just showing their love and respect for me, and I appreciate it a lot.
I definitely think that it won't be a problem. You know what I mean? As soon as everybody starts to hear about this situation, they know about the GoFundMe. I think that it'll fill up quickly. I'll tell you this much: I never really got into the whole GoFundMe. I never really had any type of situation where I've heard people talk about it or whatnot. I thought about getting into it, but I'll be making a GoFundMe account, and I'll be checking out your whole thing that's posted there. So I'll be checking that out. Definitely. And everybody that's listening to this video, man, especially for you guys that know Tim Sylvia from the back in the day, for all the entertaining fights that he's put on for you guys from back in the day, I think that he's more deserving than anybody, man, for you guys to just, even like you said, even if you're donating $1, $5, $10. And for those of you guys that don't know about Tim Sylvia, he's part of the reason why the game is where it's at today. He's one of the guys that put the game on his back. He's one of the founders of this game, man. So, if you have respect for fighters that really started this whole thing, Tim Sylvia is the guy, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Those are kind words.
Yeah, man. And I mean, just to ask you a question real quick, can you take us back to what it's like, winning the UFC championship, the first time that you win it? Like, what is it like, man? What's that feeling like back in the day, man? How's that feel?
First time I won it against Rico Rodriguez, I knocked him out in the first round. You know, it just kind of happened. You know, I was 15-0 as a pro, and I was winning. Back then, we were fighting 16-man heavyweight tournaments, 8-man heavyweight tournaments, where I'd fight 3 times in one night, and knock out all 3 guys. Then I got invited to the big Super Brawl tournament in Hawaii, 16-man heavyweight tournament. We fought once on Friday. That put us that qualified us, and then Saturday I fought 3 more times and knocked out everybody and went to the win the championship. And some of the guys I knocked out were Mike Whitehead, Jason Lambert, Boyd Ballard, and then Mike Whitehead ended up beating Ben Rothwell in the finals to earn his way back to fight me again. Then I knocked him out again. The poor guy got knocked out Friday night by me, and then he fought me Saturday night in the finals and got knocked out again. Yeah, that's just no commissions would allow that to happen these days. The guy took 2 concussions in 2 days.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, the UFC said, call him. They won me in the UFC. And my first fight was against Cabbage, who was in the Hawaii Super Brawls as well. And, man, we put on
one of the most tough fighters that's ever done it, right? One of the toughest fighters.
Cabbage is tough as nails, man. I hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and he would not fall down. And he was too tough for his own good because the corner had to throw in the towel.
Yeah, I remember that.
And, you know, out of nowhere, the UFC's like, hey, Rico Rodriguez needs a title to defend his title, and he wants to defend against you. Or like, the UFC heavyweight champ wants to fight me. Yeah, we'll take that fight. I was pretty confident he couldn't beat me, and obviously he didn't. You know, I knocked him out in the first round.
First round, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Then you knocked out your next opponent, Gan McGee, after that as well.
I didn't really have a chance to earn my way to the title. You know, it just kind of happened. I feel like it was kind of handed to me on a silver platter, and I capitalized on it. So, you know, winning the UFC belt the second time around, that was probably meant more to me because, you know, I defended my belt that time around, then I ended up vacating my belt for various reasons. And then, you know, I had to, I came back, and then I lost to Frank Mir with a broken arm. And we're like, oh, man, I broke my arm. So I took 5 months off and fought in Hawaii, Super Brawl, West Sims, knocked him out. They're like, okay, you're definitely ready for a title fight. So now I'm going to fight Arlovsky. Arlovsky hurt me in the first round. I had to tap. And
he
put me on a heel hook, and I heard pop, pop, pop. And I tapped out of fear because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to let this guy break my ankle like he did my arm and be out again. So I tapped, and, you know, it was what it was. And I had to work my way back up again. So I ended up fighting, you know, what did I fight? Oh,
after Arlovsky, you fought Mike Block in IFC?
That's right. I fought him and knocked him out. And then I fought Trey Tellerman and knocked out Trey Tellerman with a big head kick. Then I ended up fighting for a chance to fight for the title. I fought, was it Suelio Silva, I guess, on Spike. And then that gave me my title shot against
Andre, huh?
It was a rematch. He's the big bag heavyweight champion. He's knocking everybody out. And we go out there, and he drops me. I jump up and knock him out cold.
Yeah.
That win was more enjoyable for me, and it meant more to me than the first one because I had to work my way up to it. I really had to bust my ass to get that title shot. And that's the way it should be. You know, you know, they actually thought I was going to lose. You know, Rico Rodriguez handpicked me. He's like, this guy is 15-0. He's big. He's a striker. He's got no wrestling. Rico's going to take him down and beat him up and get a defend his belt. Well, it didn't happen that way. So it was definitely more enjoyable the second time, though. And then I defended it a couple times. So
yeah, and when you beat Arlovsky, you won the title, and then you beat him again right after that. Again, right?
That's
Only a couple months later.
Rematch, and then we fought Jeff Munson, and then I went into the Randy fight and a little overconfident and lost a decision against the old man.
And just to talk about some of the legends that you've taken out throughout your career, just for everyone listening that doesn't really understand, like you've taken guys out. Paul Buentello, first off, Paul Buentello was a straight brawler. Mariusz Pudzianowski, the world's strongest man, who's actually a solid fighter as well, who's transferred over to MMA. Brandon Vera, Jeff Munson, Andre Arlovsky, Wes Sims, you know, an OG UFC fighter. Gan McGee, Rico Rodriguez, Cabbage. I mean, you've Ben Rothwell. How about Ben Rothwell? You know what I mean? In your fourth professional fight, you take out Ben Rothwell, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy,
He
man.
decided he couldn't beat him, so he wanted to join him, and he moved down there and started being one of my training partners. And
That's awesome. I'm a
and
big
Mike
fan of Ben
Whitehead
Rothwell's, man.
After I knocked out Mike Whitehead, he ended up moving to Iowa, and he was one of my training partners.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Jason Lambert. I mean, you've locked horns with so many just absolute gladiators. It's awesome, man. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today, man. This is the first time I can really say I've had a legend in the game come on the show. I've had a lot of new age type of fighters. This interview was a little bit different for me. I'm a little bit more like excited about this one. You know what I mean? Because I've been watching you for so long. I'm 31 years old, and I was watching you back when I was a kid, with my dad and whatnot. When he got me into the UFC, so it's just crazy.
I'm glad I could do that for you and be the first. Hopefully, I'm not the last.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And again, everybody that's listening, make sure you check out the GoFundMe, right? The GoFundMe. You guys can find that link in Tim's Instagram page or Instagram, Twitter, and all that. Tim, you want to let them know one more time before you go?
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, it's Tim Sylvia MMA1, and then Twitter's the same thing, Tim Sylvia MMA1. My Facebook. We got a GoFundMe link up, so I appreciate it. If you guys don't, that's not really a big deal. But if you do, I thank you a lot, man.
That's awesome. Everybody go do that now, man. All right, Tim. It was an absolute pleasure, man, and an honor. Thank you, Tim.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right, guys. Tim Sylvia. That was awesome, man. That was really cool for me. Like I said, that's the first time I really had like a legend in the game come on like that. So a lot of new age fighters have been coming on the show. Tim Sylvia. If you guys don't know about Tim Sylvia, go look him up. If you want to see some exciting fights, man, go. If you have UFC Fight Pass or if you Google it, you could pretty much watch every fight just Googling it nowadays. Watch the wars between Tim Sylvia and Andre Arlovski. Even the Frank Mir fight was a fight that he lost, but it was very entertaining. Watch that fight. The armbar was disgusting. But watch the Andre Arlovski match. The Brandon Vera match was a nice fight. He's locked horns with some of the best of them, man. A lot of knockouts on his resume too, man. The Rico Rodriguez finish, the Cabbage Wesley Coera fight, Mike Whitehead. He's a true OG in the game. And you guys, I am going to open up the show. Been running for an hour and 11 minutes. The show is open. If anybody wants to come on, you guys want to talk UFC 250, it's always open to you guys. Always remember that, man. The show is always open to you guys. Anyone's more than welcome to come on. I'm going to bring in Arseny. And, of course, you guys remember, Arseny's on. You guys can join us as well, man. I could fit up to 6 people in here. So, anybody that wants to come in and chat it up with us, you join us, man. You guys are more than welcome to join us. All right?
Bro, what's up, man? That was a great interview. Bro.
Thank you, man.
Yo, I didn't know that he knocked out Ben Rothwell twice. Ben Rothwell is a really tough dude.
Oh yeah. Did he knock him out twice? I didn't know it was twice. I know he knocked him out once.
He said twice. He said that there was some. It's not showing up on his record because I'm sure it was probably maybe one of these like smaller shows that maybe list it. He said it was like I think like a 64-man tournament. He said he knocked him out on Friday and then he fought him in the finals on Saturday and knocked him out like the next day. I was talking about that. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Like I see on his record, it says that he beat him by UD, so that was probably a later fight or something. But man, that's crazy. Okay. Ben Rothwell, man, that guy. You saw what he did to OSP, man. He's still he's still in there.
Hey, he did win that fight, right? He was the dog in that fight, and I should have bet on him. I didn't touch that fight betting wise, but yeah, man, that's the guy, right? I should have bet on him there. Ben Rothwell's a legend in the game too. For everybody that's watching this right now, right? I just want to touch upon this right now. I got a comment from Steven Evans right now. Love this podcast. I really appreciate that, man. I want to let all you guys know that I really appreciate every single person that's in here watching this show live right now. I'm going to keep coming at you guys every Thursday, man. I'm going to have, surprises like that. You know what I mean? Tim Sylvia hopping on the show. I'm going to have legends in the game hopping on the show. All the new age fighters, they're going to be hopping in here. The platform is going to continue to evolve. And you guys know damn well that, soon enough, this show is going to be very, very big. This is going to be one of the biggest shows in the MMA game. And you guys are basically just here, in the beginning stages. And it's already taken off. I had about 600 subscribers in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I mean, think about that. The subscribers are really starting to pick up. And I know they're going to continue to pick up. We're going to hit 10K subscribers. We're going we're going to really just, explode, man. And it's not just about me, man. It's about all you guys, every single one of you guys rolling with me as this show really takes off. And you guys let me know, man, what fighters you guys want me to bring on. I'm going to bring them on. Maybe down the road, man, I'll have some of these. What I'll do, I'll have the fighters come on the show towards the end of their conversation. I'll bring you guys on. So I have you guys hop in the conversation and ask these fighters whatever you guys want. You know what I mean? I'll get your guys' favorite fighter on the show, and then you guys hop on the show and you guys ask them whatever you guys want. I mean, how cool is that? You're talking with your idols or, your favorite fighters. And that's what MMA Live Discussion is all about. It's also about talking about these fight cards, for those of you guys that like to make bets on fights, that's what I'm here for as well. We could talk about the fights, you know what I mean? We could talk about each and every fight on these cards. UFC 250, an amazing card. And yeah, man. So, I just want to let all you guys know about that.
Yo, I feel like Kobe would be a funny interview. Kobe
yeah.
Yeah.
I will get Kobe on the show. I don't know if you remember, I told a couple people before, I've said on the show, I met Kobe way back in the day, way before he was even anything. I met him back in about 2000, maybe 2009 or so, whatever it was. And this is when he first started just coming down here from Oregon. He was like a wrestling guy that they brought in. I bumped into him. And the only reason why I even said anything to him is because I saw he had a tattoo of the USA wrestling tattoo. You know what I mean? The half red, half blue, the country. And I said to him, I was like, hey, do you wrestle? You train or what? And he's like, yeah, that I just like quick little BS talk. And, little did I know, bro, fuck Kobe Covington, Little did I know I was even going to be having this type of show and this and that. But I let him know that, I train a little bit here and there. But when I looked at him, he was there with some chick at the pool, just sitting, like kissing on some girl. And he just looked like a young, cool dude that, I would have never known that this guy was going to blow up the way he did. You know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't even know I was going to be having an MMA show. And otherwise I would have had this. I would have set that up. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Kobe, I got to have you on the show in 10 years or whatever.
Yo, you think Sean O'Malley's going to be a future champ?
Sean O'Malley, is he going to be a future champ in the bantamweight division? I think he definitely has a strong case, a strong possibility to be a future champ. Let me pull up Sean O'Malley real quick just to get an idea how old Sean O'Malley is, because I believe Sean O'Malley right now. Let me just pull him up. All right, so Sean O'Malley, man, 25 years old. I definitely think, like I said, he has a strong possibility to be a future champ. The main reason why I'm really backing him so much right now is for the sheer fact that he started to put on a lot of muscle. He's really taken the game, very, very serious. He already had the striking and all that, and he's very unorthodox in there. He obviously has that all going for him. But the fact that he's putting on the muscle, it really shows me that he knows what he's doing. And his head coach, Tim Welsh, he's a guy, Tim Welsh. He fought in The Ultimate Fighter, a guy that really knows the ins and outs of the game. So he has a guy like that looking over him. And but like I said, going back to putting that muscle on, that proves to me, yes, he's going to be a future champion. Strong case to be a future UFC champion. He has to just work on his takedown defense. As long as he has the takedown defense, he's going to be a Conor McGregor type of fighter. He's going to be laying guys out left and right. He's going to be knocking them out. And yeah, why not? Right now, the bantamweight division, I mean, who are the top guys in the bantamweight division? The belt is vacant. Henry Cejudo retired. You got Petr Yan, he's the best bantamweight fighter in the world right now, Petr Yan. You got Dominic Cruz, who'll be bouncing back for a big fight. You got, of course, this weekend, you know what I mean, UFC 250, you got Aljamain Sterling and Sandhagen. Whoever wins that fight is going to be right there for the title shot against Petr Yan and Jose Aldo. And then you got Sean O'Malley, just like a shark, man, just swarming through the water, just ready to eat something. And he's young. He's a young man. Sean O'Malley's only, like I said, 25 years old. Imagine Sean O'Malley when he's 28, 29 years old, man. The guy's going to be disgusting. He's a new age type of fighter.
Yeah.
Guys are,
when he fights, I feel like it's like someone's controlling him with like a PS3 controller. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you watch him and it's like you're in a video game. But what is it called? What about what's his name? What about Cody Garbrandt? You think he has a shot of making it to the top if he gets his head straight and he doesn't like I feel like he sometimes he needs a little more fighter IQ, but if he gets that part straight, I mean, the guy has so much talent. He's so quick and fluid. What do you think, man?
I definitely think for sure he could reach championship level again. The thing is, it just comes down to one thing, in my opinion. Will his chin hold up? Will his chin hold up? He's coming off 3 consecutive knockouts. Been knocked out 3 consecutive times in a row. Of course, 2 of them were against TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw, was on performance-enhancing drugs. Let's not forget about that. You know what I mean? EPO and all types of crap. I think TJ Dillashaw really tainted his career, really tainted Cody's career. Doing these performance-enhancing drugs and putting the damage that he put on Cody, because Cody's chin doesn't look like it's recovered still. I mean, you take a look at Cody's last fight against the Punisher. Pedro Munoz, the Punisher. And even Pedro just connects a few times and just boom, he's done. This is a big fight for him. And I'll tell you guys right now, this fight right now, when you're looking at this fight, if you want to put money on either guy, in my opinion, you're 100% banking. You're banking on the fact is Cody's chin going to hold up? Because if Cody doesn't get knocked out, he wins the fight. I really do believe that. Rafael Assunção, he's a very, very skilled fighter. Everywhere this fight goes, very skilled, but he's pretty basic, very, very professional. If he doesn't clip Cody with something, Cody will be styling on him on the feet. Cody will be quicker to the punch. He's going to style on him with the striking. I don't really see Assunção, grappling Cody, like holding him down the entire fight. I don't really see that. Cody has underrated, grappling skills, underrated takedown defense. Of course, training at Team Alpha Male. The type of guys he's scrambling with on a daily basis. Does Cody's chin hold up? We're going to find out this Saturday, man. UFC 250. Does Cody's chin hold up? Or does Cody just get clipped with the basic shot? Does he get clipped with the basic shot? You know what I mean? And does he just start to wobble and get put out by Assunção? That could easily happen.
I saw Cody. I was watching the not the embedded, but the countdown, and now he's splitting his time in what is it called? It's where Frankie Edgar and Mara Moraes out here in Jersey, in South Jersey though, like near Robbinsville or something.
Yeah,
Mark Henry. That's
with Mark Henry.
Yeah, Mark Henry. So maybe I don't know, man. Obviously every fighter's like, this is the new me, but we'll see, man. But it was so surprising to see him get knocked out by Munoz, because when I was watching that, I thought I saw a clear speed difference between Munoz and Cody. I thought Cody was so much faster, so much quicker, so much more fluid. I thought so. And then when Munoz hits him with a shot, but I think if I'm not mistaken, what happened was Cody got into a brawl with Munoz, right? He was winning, and then I don't know if Munoz clipped him or if Cody got pissed off. Then he decided.
Yep.
It's not like he dropped his hands, but he started fighting a telephone pole and a telephone booth, a phone booth, whatever. And then that's when he got knocked out. And I was like, man, it's kind of like what Cyborg did against Nunes. You know what I mean? Where she got clipped and all of a sudden she started fighting in the telephone booth, which is the worst way to fight someone with more knockout power than you. But yeah. So I was surprised when I saw that, man.
One of Cody's biggest flaws is, it's not a flaw because it is a flaw, but it's a flaw, but it's also something that really benefits him as well. Is the guy is extremely tough. The guy doesn't back down from anybody. I mean, you saw him even on the Ultimate Fighter show, even when Conor McGregor was trying to act slick or whatever. I mean, Cody was the first guy to get in his face, shove McGregor. Cody Garbrandt is a tough, tough mother, what. And he's the type of guy that, if you start to get a couple strikes off on him, Cody's going to start to press on you, bro. He's going to start to rush you, and then he's going to start working his striking. And that's what kind of happened in that fight. He got tagged a little bit, and then he didn't like it, started to press. And it kind of ended up being his demise because, he really needs to give his chin some time. He really needs to see how his chin kind of plays out. You know what I mean? In this fight right now, he does not need to be engaging. Another thing I'll tell you that's going to benefit him in this fight, there's no crowd there, right? When you have these fights that take place with no crowd, if they engage, they start to clip each other. You don't have that giant roar of the crowd that entices you to start rushing in. Or also, if you get tagged, say you get punched in the face, you don't hear the entire crowd in the back, and you know what I mean, in the back of your head. That makes a guy like Cody want to rush back in and start throwing hands. In this fight, if they're smart, if the coaching is done properly, he takes his time, he uses his speed and his striking advantage, and he just stuffs the takedowns and he puts himself in a position where he puts himself in a position where he's less likely to get hit with shots. He's less likely to get tagged with that big shot that's gonna wobble him and potentially put him unconscious. Do not be surprised if he gets put unconscious, because a Sun Sao has knockout power. I'm telling you guys right now. Don't get it twisted. A Sun Sao is a very patient, conservative fighter, but he's so technical and he carries power, bro. He does. He carries power, man. Those hooks, those little hybrid straight hooks that he throws, they'll lay you out. If he connects on Cody, Cody's going to sleep. So
I feel like Cody should maybe fight, kind of like, remember when Adesanya fought Romero, even though obviously it wasn't a fun fight to watch, but, like Adesanya tried to play Matador. He didn't try to engage, even when Romero hit him with that hard shot in the first round. Adesanya still, he didn't like drop, start trying to like fight the Cody fight where, he'd get close and try to pressure Romero. He still kept his distance and played Matador. I don't know. I feel like that might be a good style for Cody now that now that he's been hit a few times too much.
That's true. What's up, Will? Welcome to the show, Will. We got Will Salinas joining us too. What's up, Will?
What's up?
How do you feel about UFC 250, man? What's your thoughts for UFC 250?
Great fights as always. Dana White is putting on a hell of a card every weekend, and I can't wait to see the card, bro. It's gonna be epic. I'm pumped up for the co-main event rather than the main event. A lot of people are talking shit like buying pay-per-view and stuff like that. It's funny, and at the same time, I follow these pages and it's real funny because they always talking about, I belong to some group chats in MMA and always talk about stream instead of buying pay-per-view. It's real funny.
Good stuff, man. All right, just to touch upon this, let's see. We got who said that?
Yeah,
Pavlov says, when has a Sun Sao had? Let's see. Actually, that wasn't even it. Let me get it real quick. Somebody here. Oh, Matthew Bruff. When has a Sun Sao had knockout power? And let me just go back to the point I was making. So a Sun Sao has knocked out fighters before, but it's not always about. You don't judge a fighter just strictly on their knockouts to see what kind of knockout power they have. But just to touch upon that, Matthew Lopez, a very tough fighter. He just knocked out Matthew Lopez back in 2017. Tough fighter. He's knocked out guys like before that. He knocked out another guy, not one of the biggest names that you would see, but Asi Tomorrow. But even if you go back to back when he was younger, he's had a couple other knockouts. But like I said, it's not strictly like this guy. I'm not saying a Sun Sao goes out there and knocks everybody out. The point I'm making is he throws leather. A Sun Sao throws leather, and if he connects on Cody, who's showed right now that he's having problems with his chin, he will be knocked out. That's what I'm telling you point blank. If you think, based on what Cody's performances were as of recently, if you think he's going to sit there and engage in a brawl with Rafael Sun Sao, I'm telling you right now, you're sadly mistaken. He's going to get clipped with something. He needs to go in there with a smart mindset. He needs to pick and choose when he wants to go in, backpedal, come in and out. Otherwise, there's a good chance that he gets clipped and gets put out. And I did pick Cody to win the fight. Let's make that clear now. I did pick Cody to win the fight. You guys can run the breakdown tape, the fight prediction tape. All right?
Bro, I couldn't believe it. I was just looking like you were at Rafael Sun Sao's his record. Dude, he beat Jorge Masvidal by UD back in 2005.
Who? Say that again. Who? Say that again one more time.
A Sun Sao, he beat Jorge Masvidal by UD in 2005. Look at his record. Yeah, I can't believe it, man. They're two-way class. Wait, three-way class.
Oh yeah. That was his fifth professional fight. Yeah.
Oh, what? Wait, 135, 145, 155,
135 at 135.
No, I don't know.
Not the weight.
What class this was at.
We gotta find out what weight that fight took place at, right? I'm looking at it as well.
You see it, right?
Because
Yeah. And look, he took out Joe Lozon too, right?
I
2
think
fights after that.
Masvidal
He armbarred Joe Lozon after that. Think about that too, man. How about Joe Pearson?
Well, I don't
if
know
you guys
something
don't remember,
about-
Joe Pearson knocked out Joe Pearson too. Knocked out Joe Pearson, solid fighter.
Joe, you know, Masvidal is a bigger guy. You know, it's hard to believe that he can make 135. You know, it's
I don't
hard to
think
believe. But
I don't think it was
Yep.
probably 155. Probably 155.
They fought at
yeah,
155.
I
You
mean,
said?
Yes, no, I'm not sure, but that's my guess because I see him. I see
I
Masvidal.
can
He fought Joe Lozon. Isn't
let
Joe
me
Lozon
check.
155? Yeah, 155.
Let me check it right now. Let me check it right now.
Most likely it was 155, which is kind of crazy that he was fighting at 155. How tall is Sun Sao? I don't think he's a tall guy.
He's short, bro. He's really short. Sun Sao is only, let me see. I think
He's short.
5'7",
Short fighter.
5'5" and a half.
Short fighter.
Masvidal is 5'11".
Yeah, man. No, can you know what it was back then, bro? There was such a scarce amount of fighters.
Yeah.
That type of stuff that what used to happen.
Yo, remember?
Oh, we got someone else joining the show. Ringside News.
What's up, fortune teller? All you
What's
guys?
up, brother?
Yeah, I had to, hop on this. I don't know if you weren't seeing my comments or.
I got a
what was
lot of
happening.
people waiting. I got a big list, bro. I'm fortunate enough to say, man, I got a whole room waiting of people trying to get in, man. So anyone that's waiting in the private room, man, it's obviously I'm trying to get you guys all in here, but right now me, Will, and Arsene are chatting it up. So we don't want to make this a drama show. We want to keep this MMA related.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you popping in, brother. All right, guys.
No, I was saying that. Yo, remember when Andrade used to fight at 135? I think she said that she used to eat cake to make the weight, because they didn't have the 115 division before, and so she would she'd have to try to get as big as possible just to make the 135 weight class.
Yeah. We got another guest joining the show. MMA Locker Room, my boy City. What's up,
How
City?
you doing out there, man?
What's up, man? What's your thoughts on UFC 250?
Oh man, I'm liking it, man. My second play is out of the card though. Ian Heinisch just dropped out, so and now I got to find something else to put some money on.
You had Ian, huh? You had Ian in that spot, huh?
Yeah, man. I like Ian, man. And Gerald, he's good and all, but when it comes down to it, on the feet, I'm not really worried about him. The submissions is only real threat. And when it all came down to it, at the price that I got Ian Heinisch at, I think I got him at 115, then I doubled up at 125 or 120. So nice. I was loving that price.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, man, as far as on my side, that was a play that I was targeting. I didn't make it official, but I kept looking at that play, bro. I was watching a lot of fight tape, and of course, you guys know I'm on Ian. I had him as my pick. I just kept looking at it, and I was the only thing I was worried about was the fact I felt like Ian would control the wrestling situations. I feel like he'd be stronger, the cardio. He would push the cardio in the later rounds. But Gerald keeps coming through as a dog too, And Gerald was bigger, bro. He was a lot bigger, bro. He had a big size advantage. But I felt like Ian would have pulled that fight off. I felt like Ian probably would have pulled that fight off. I agree.
And see, I felt real comfortable about that too, just going that he went to a different camp. Him coming off his first 2 losses, switching to another camp, getting he got a new fight contract too. I mean, the juice has got to be flowing for Ian right now. So he was going to come in there pretty much hot.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Quincy. Let's see what these guys are talking about. I'm debating whether or not I should purchase this card. Neil, the security guy, bro. I don't want to say
it's free on ESPN.
Oh, is it? Is the whole card free?
Prelims.
Oh, prelims are free. Prelims.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the prelims. The prelims.
Yeah.
The prelims. It's free on the UFC. If not, I stream it. The only card I ever purchased is the last corner fight.
Oh, against Cowboy. Yeah.
I thought
that was a nice card. That whole card was stacked.
Yeah, I thought that fight. Yeah, I thought the fight was gonna be longer, you know. And yeah,
Connor thought otherwise.
You know, I with
Hey,
shoulder, with shoulder.
what do you guys think about all the people that's on the card that came from the Contender? I feel like Dana White, when it comes to pushing like the pay-per-view events nowadays, he puts everybody that's on the Contender pretty much like headlining stuff. Like if we was to go down the list of fighters who's on this card, I guarantee 6 or 7 of them came from the Contender.
It's true. A lot of valid points. You know what's crazy though? It's like nowadays the Contender Series really is like, it's almost becoming like what college football is to the NFL. Like really, like legitimately, like especially as time keeps transpiring, all the top prospects are going to be coming from Dana White's Contender Series. That's where they're going to be coming from. You know what I mean? Think about all these solid fighters that we got, man. Future potential championship fighters are coming from Dana White's Contender Series. You guys help me out. Think of some of these guys I'm talking about. Sean O'Malley, man, that's a guy that has potential to be a future champion. Ian Heinisch is a solid fighter. You guys throw some names out. Who's from the Contender Series?
Did Chase Cooper come from the
Geoff Neal.
Jeff Neal, Chase Cooper, Arseny. Yes, Chase Cooper did come from he was on the initial season, bro.
Damn.
Wow.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I feel like someone's connection is.
Yo, City, we lost you for a second, City. What'd you say?
Oh, I said Super Sadiq. Sadiq Yusuf.
Oh, Sadiq. Yo, Kevin Holland. Somebody just commented.
Super
Kevin
Sadiq.
Holland. Sadiq Yusuf. Ian Heinisch. Damn, there's a lot of names that I'm forgetting right now too, man. I know there's some solid guys that came from that show. They're really taking over the UFC. Think about every card has those guys.
Like, and they're on there. It's like 5 or 6 per card.
Yep. And Arseny, you were talking about Chase Hooper. So Chase Hooper, yo, when he fought on Dana White's Contender Series, I forget how old he was. He might have been like 18, 19 years old. Yo, he got roughed up too in the first round. For those of you guys that remember, it was season 1 of the Contender Series. I was in Greece. I was watching this on the islands in my hometown. And yo, Chase Hooper got whooped up in the first round, survived the onslaught, and then he came back and he just started working his jiu-jitsu. That guy is tough, man. And his jiu-jitsu is a new age type of jiu-jitsu. That guy's going to be pulling submissions off left and right at the UFC. Mark my words.
You think like because he's so young and he has so much time to grow, you think eventually he could be a champ? Chase Cooper?
For him, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, of course, he has the potential, but it's just so hard to say. He's so young. I got to see his striking come all the way around. His striking is nowhere near the level of championship status. So, but the thing is, it's so crazy because he's so young.
Yeah.
That who's to say what his striking is going to look like in 5-6 years when he's like 24, 25. You know what I mean? But right now, his striking is not on the level. He's going to get knocked out. Yo. He will get knocked out by a couple of different guys. People are going to knock him out.
Who else are these young guys? In Edmund Shabazian, right? Edmund Shabazian's pretty young.
Yeah. I'm thinking Edmund Shabazian. Edmund Shabazian's a guy that's a future champ. Straight up, right now. I'm telling you, that's a future champ right now. Yeah. His jiu-jitsu is so nasty, and he's not even using his jiu-jitsu. He's knocking everybody out, and his jiu-jitsu is the nastiest thing about him, bro. He was a guy, bro, that was winning jiu-jitsu championships when he was like 17, 18 years old, bro. Look it up. He was winning all these types of crazy jiu-jitsu tournaments in California. Yeah. Edmund Taverdian was his head coach, bro. He's serious, bro.
I remember his head coach, he was getting flack because you remember when Ronda's striking wasn't up to par and people were saying, oh, her coach was just basically hyping her up or he was being a yes man to her. So I remember he got a lot of people were really disrespecting this guy, and now he has Edmund Shabazian. So you know what I mean?
He came full circle. He came full circle because he had Ronda Rousey like at the time, the best women's champion of all time. He was like the one of the coach prodigies or whatever. People liked him a lot because obviously he had Rousey. Then people started throwing stones at him. They thought he was crap because she fell off. But now he's full circle coming. He's going to be full circle. Watch, he's going to be in the limelight soon enough because you know how it is when you got your fighter is the champion. You're going to be in the limelight, and he's going to come full circle right back to the limelight. I'm telling you, because that dude's a real fighter, bro. A real fighter.
Yo, remember Sage Northcutt?
Really?
He was a young guy who was he had so much hype behind him, but man, he got cut from the UFC, and then he got starched by that kickboxer, right?
Who? Say that again. Who we talking about?
It's like
Super Sage Northcutt.
Oh
Remember
yeah, Sage.
Yeah. He had a lot of hype. He was a young guy too, 18 years old when he started fighting. People thought, man, this guy eventually is going to be a champion because he's so young, but he got cut, and then he got knocked out by that kickboxer.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, so you know what happened with him? Yeah, he broke his entire orbital bone. But the reason why he got cut, I'll tell you why he got cut, is because, all right, first off, look at his physique, right? Sage Northcutt, he has a crazy physique. He was a prodigy, bro. You can pull up pictures of him in these karate magazines. He was a karate champion, bro, when he was a little kid, first off. So this kid's a prodigy, right? He's bringing all that over to the table. First off, he just looks like a crazy dude, bro. He's literally like an action figure, right? He fights on Dana White's Contender Series, gets the knockout, I believe, in the first round, I think he knocked the dude out in the first or second round, I believe. But he gets signed with the UFC. His striking is obviously up to par, but his grappling's not. But the thing was, it didn't matter win, lose, or draw. People really wanted to tune in to watch him fight. And basically, when the contract negotiations started to come around, he wanted big-time money, bro. He wanted to get paid. And the UFC was like, you know what? Dana White was laughing about it. He's like, we ain't going to pay you. He's like, go prove yourself first. Go prove yourself. If you're really legit, you come back to us in a couple of years. And you know what happened? ONE FC, one of the number one MMA organizations in the world. And let's get this straight. ONE FC has way more eyes on that organization than the UFC. More people like per person watching their events. ONE FC is the biggest organization in the world, first off. Let's get that right. And ONE FC gave him a big contract, bro. They gave him money. And then, like you said, he got knocked out. Here's the crazy part. Check this out. Just to touch upon this. Let me throw City back in. Yo, so Sage. Oh, he left. But all right, Sage Northcutt. Let me pull this up real quick. So the guy, this was a crazy situation, right? Check this out real quick. I'm gonna pull it up. So they throw Sage Northcutt in there. His name is slipping my mind. This guy who he fought. The guy that he fought is he's a K1 kickboxing stud. His name's Cosmo Alexandre, a Brazilian fighter, right? This guy, Cosmo, this guy is a stud kickboxing fighter. As far as his MMA record goes, at the time, he's 7-1, but he's just knocking guys out left and right. Now, I'll tell you why, in my opinion, why they matched Sage up with him. I think they signed Sage. They want to prove that their fighters are just as good as the UFC's fighters, right? Sage Northcutt was a UFC guy, So they're like, okay, you think this guy's good? And it was a perfect situation because, Sage was overhyped first off. And then you get the casuals that really don't comprehend that. They think, oh, Sage was a UFC fighter, not really understanding that Sage was a UFC fighter, but he was very young and he was very green and had a lot of potential. You want to play matchmaker and you want to like pick and choose what you're doing. You throw him in the octagon in a matchup like that against a guy in Cosmo Alexandre. It's a stylistic matchup first off, right? Sage Northcutt's not a grappler, so he's going to have to strike with him. And then you're throwing him up against a guy that's a stud kickboxing world-class striker. That was a setup fight, I swear. That was a setup fight to prove that's their way to show that their fighters are better fighters than the UFC fighters. And you see that too. If you ever notice with Bellator and UFC, they'll both do that too. The UFC's done that time and time again. They'll sign guys from Bellator and they'll instantly try to throw these guys to the wolves a lot of the times, to show like, hey, everything they were doing over there was for nothing. You know what I mean? It's not like over here. Because you know what I mean? It's like if you really think deep about it, you know what I mean? It's really how you show like what your promotion's worth.
That's a good point, actually. And I remember that one thing is even that fight that he won in the UFC, it was like a weird – remember that decision where he got it, but I don't think he should have gotten it? Remember?
He lost. He lost that fight. That was against that was against Thibault Goudy, the French kickboxer.
Right? Yeah, you remember that where he got the decision.
He lost that fight. He should have lost.
He should have. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, that's ridiculous because that was another judging robbery. But remember in ONE FC, Eddie Alvarez, he got knocked out too by
Yes, he did.
Yeah. I forgot what the guy's name is.
That guy's a stud of a fighter too. The guy that he fought, very good fighter. I forgot his name too. It's slipping my mind.
Chinese guy, I think.
He's like
yes. It was an Asian fighter. It was definitely an Asian fighter.
Yeah.
He looks like he's from like Uzbekistan or like Kazakhstan or one of those.
Was he?
Yeah, 'cause he had like a Russian sounding name. Like usually guys, because I know that because I'm Russian. A lot of times you have like guys who look Asian, but they have like Russian sounding names, and usually they're from like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan. You know, one of those. I think. If I'm not
I'm pulling him up right now. Edward Foliang. He's from he's from the Philippines.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm way off then.
Wow.
But yeah, man, he got that rear naked choke on Eddie. Yo, Eddie's the guy that I'm working on. I'm gonna try to get him on the show, bro. You guys can expect. I'm gonna get Eddie. Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez.
Oh,
yeah, I'll get him on the show.
Hey, no, it was. I was right. It was actually Timofey Nastukin. He beat Edward Foliang. Eddie Alvarez.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, brother. You're right.
Yeah,
he would beat Edward.
Yeah, because I remember.
Yes, you're right. Oh,
yeah, is a Russian mixed martial. He's like Russian, but he looks like Asian because a lot of people in like the middle in like the central part of Russia is right next to Asia, or it's actually part of Asia. So they they look like Kazakhstan and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, Arseny was 100% correct on that. You are right for sure, bro. You're right. I'm looking at it now. And I mean, he was a decent fighter, man. I mean, he doesn't really have any big victories on his resume besides Eddie Alvarez. So I think that Eddie just kind of bit the bullet on that one, bro. I think his chin, Eddie Alvarez has been through a lot of war. Yeah. Obviously, Conor McGregor did some damage to him, and he got tagged in that fight, and he just got wobbled, and then he got finished.
Yeah, man, that was a little sad to see. He got abused by Conor, but. Yo, and then remember Demetrius Johnson? He almost lost that fight against the guy, against the one guy, right? Like, this was like all the same night. I remember I think it was all the same night when Eddie Alvarez fought in one. I think it was the same card. Eddie Alvarez.
You mean at 1FC? At 1FC, he lost that fight? No, he
won. Close. It was like really close. Demetrius Johnson, he won the fight in 1FC, but I think it was really close. People were expecting Demetrius Johnson to just run through the guy because he's Demetrius Johnson, but it ended up being like a really close fight. Like,
he fought. The guy that he fought was Tatsumitsu Owada, a Japanese fighter.
Oh yeah.
Demetrius really used his grappling. He was taking him down the entire fight. He didn't want to exchange with him too much.
Yeah. I don't know which one of these because I see there's like 3 fights that he has.
And, but that fight I'm talking about was that was the same night that Eddie Alvarez got knocked out.
Okay.
That was the same card.
Yeah. You're right.
I remember seeing that, like seeing the highlights from that later on. After it was weird because they played it. It was like I watched it like on a rerun because the timing was different. I remember watching the fight. They re-aired it or whenever they aired it later on whatever it was, HD Fights or whatever. I remember seeing it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, we got Pavlov says, don't do the show with Eddie with that photo behind you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point.
That's a really good point, bro. I gotta remodel the studio. Oh, yo, and by the way, just so you guys know, I'm gonna be moving and I'm gonna set up a nice studio, man. So you guys can expect some big time stuff, bro. I'm gonna have an entire studio, like a legit studio, and I'm gonna get new cameras. It's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be like legit. And I'm gonna have it, bro. Where I'm gonna try to get fighters to come in the studio too. I'll do some live interviews. I'm gonna start working on all that, bro. Like a big time studio.
Great.
So yeah, expect.
You gotta take it serious too, though.
What's that?
You gotta take it serious. You gotta take it serious.
Definitely, bro. Yeah. Definitely. I'm all in.
Yeah. It's great you have this podcast. A lot of people can talk to you about MMA predictions or anything else, related obviously to MMA. And, I appreciate the time with you. And I want to talk about the Dana and Jones back and forth,
Okay, we could talk about that.
You saw all the shit on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What's your thoughts on that, Will? What do you think about all that? You think that Jones is really taking a break or what?
I think that Jones is not going to he wants to vacate the title, his title from 205 and just leave it there and make Dana, just think about his is 15 million or 30 million. Dana said that he wants to make Deontay Wilder's money and everything. And really, I don't think that's necessarily true because it's crazy, like having a boxing purse than an MMA purse, it's two different worlds. Because in boxing, the purse of boxing, to be really, to be really clear, the boxing purse is just way high than the MMA purse.
Well,
Really.
it depends.
Besides
It
the corner,
depends, though.
who
It
gets-
depends. You're talking about the
Besides the
pinnacle of the
corner-
boxing game. You're talking about the pinnacle.
No, the pinnacle. Yeah, the pinnacle.
When it comes to the
champions
top
gets
tier
Canelo,
boxing, yes, yeah.
Deontay,
Very
Tyson
few and far
Fury,
between. And the smaller boxers
you know?
don't get paid anything. First off, let's get that straight. If you're not even making it to the HBO fights, you're not getting paid pennies.
The prelims. Yeah, the prelims or the fighters that or boxers to to talk about boxing only. They receive like $15,000 or $10,000 for each fight. Which similar to MMA.
Yeah.
Or maybe more.
I'll tell you what I think about it, man. I'll be honest with you. I think that John Jones is starting to realize that the game is passing him up. In my opinion, he probably should have lost that last fight. If anything, he barely squeaked out a victory. I think this is a guy that and I called this out. You guys can run the tape back. I said John Jones is going to lose one of his next 3 to 4 fights. I said that, and I still stick behind that. And in fact, I think he probably lost that last fight. And if John Jones gets matched up with the best fighters in the world, the next 3 fights, he's going to lose. I think that John Jones is an excellent fighter. He's done a lot in the sport, but I think the game is caught up to him. The game is caught up to him. These younger fighters are on the same level as him, and if not, they're better than him. Dominic Reyes is better with the striking. You see it. And,
I had Reyes win in that fight too.
I thought he won the fight. I thought he won 3 rounds. I had
to be honest. I'm a fan. Yeah, 3-2 rounds for Reyes, and I thought that Reyes actually won the fight.
Yeah,
and actually, oh my God, I'm a Jones fan.
Go ahead.
I'm a Jones fan. Yeah, I'm a Jones fan, but actually, I watched the fight, in favor of Reyes.
I thought he won the fight.
What it is.
Check this out.
Yep.
So if you're John Jones right now, right?
Yep.
It may not be a bad idea to it may not be a bad idea to take some time off, right? Try to negotiate so you get a bigger contract, because in the meantime, let's say you get paid almost double what you would have got paid. So instead of stepping in there and risking your neck again, getting knocked out because you're starting to lose a little bit of confidence in your skill set after a guy whoops on you like Dominic Reyes did. Maybe you start to realize you got to step it up, and these guys are catching up. So you want to if you can get paid in 1 fight the same that you can get paid in 2 fights, maybe it's a smart idea. Start causing all this disruption, and then you know what? Eventually they'll come to a negotiation, and he'll get paid more money. And in the meantime, he's milking more time that he's the GOAT and he's the champion. But I'll tell you what, I think John Jones is 31, 32 years old. I think 31, if I remember. If he locks horns, if he keeps locking horns with these guys in the light heavyweight division, somebody's going to catch him. I'm telling you, if he fights 4 or 5 more times in the UFC, he's going to lose. He's going to lose a fight. And don't be surprised if he gets knocked out, because he's been in some battles. Dominic Reyes tagged him up. Dominic Reyes was hitting him clean. And I'll tell you what, in the rematch, I definitely take Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes, that's the first time that he ever had a 5-round fight. That's the first time that he started to get comfortable, get some confidence that he just fought a championship caliber type opponent. And, Dominic Reyes now with another camp behind him, Dominic Reyes wins that fight. The only reason why he even lost that fight was because he started to gas a little bit. But Dominic Reyes is clearly the better fighter. So, and you know what?
In the later rounds, he
started to gas a little bit. Dude, I don't even think that Dominic Reyes is the best fighter in the division right now. I think there's better fighters in the division. I think there's more dangerous fighters in the division, even besides him.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm jumping the gun on some of these fighters, but just give them some time and watch some of these guys. A guy like Alexander Rakic, who needs to polish up his game a little bit more. He needs to obviously have the takedown defense, and he needs to work on his clinch. He needs to get guys off of him. You can't have guys hugging him against the cage because John Jones could definitely do that to him. But once he keeps working on that, I think Alexander Rakic starches Jones on the feet. I think he works the leg kicks. I think he fucks him up on the feet. I think that I think right now John Jones will leech him though. I think John Jones will get takedowns and he'll do what Volkan Ozdemir did to him. I would love to see Volkan Ozdemir versus John Jones. Volkan Ozdemir is a guy that gets the bad end of the stick every time, bro. This is a guy, Volkan Ozdemir, he beat Dominic Reyes. He got robbed. And Dominic Reyes was one of my plays. Man. I was in New Orleans when that fight took place, and that was one of my plays I gave out, and I won it. And I'm always honest with you guys. When I won that play, I told everybody, I said he probably shouldn't have won that fight. So you know what I mean. He's a tough fighter, man. Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan Ozdemir can strike with you, and he's starting to get nasty with the clinch and the grappling, man. He's really doing his thing.
It sounds like John Jones is trying to pull where, kind of similar situation where GSP, a lot of people thought he lost to Hendricks and he retires, comes back, knocks out Bisping. Let's say John Jones does the same thing, retires for a year or two, comes back, fights the heavyweight champion, beats the heavyweight champion, and then retires again. And thereby he can claim that he's better than GSP because GSP had those losses, Matt Hughes and Matt Serra. John Jones didn't have those losses. So I'm just saying, if he does that, he's better. He did it better than GSP. So he could be doing that. But I kind of respected John Jones for doing what even though I do agree that he did lose that fight. I respect that he's trying to he's trying to get what he thinks he's worth, and he's willing to give up the belt for that, man. Like, you know what I mean? Whether you like him or hate him, the fact is, he's trying to fight for what he believes he deserves. So,
Matthew Bruff says UFC will keep giving him decisions unless he gets KO'd, and I tend to agree. Yeah, they feel like he's the champ. They're going to keep him the champ.
What'd you think about Hendricks against?
I thought GSP won that fight. I had GSP 3 rounds to 2, and I think that as far as damage, I thought that Hendricks did a lot more damage, and he in particularly did that a lot in the first or second. I forget if it was the second round. So I mean but it wasn't a 10-8, so you couldn't give him a 10-8. And Hendricks put a lot of damage on him. But I've rewatched that fight multiple times. GSP was my favorite fighter back in the day. But not to say that I'm biased, man. I rewatched that fight. And I think if you really do, in my opinion, if you really do your research and you see what the real fight fans that have went back, the real experts that have watched that fight, everybody says that GSP won that fight 3-2. Not everybody, a lot of people. If you really watch that fight back, GSP, he composed himself and then he started to take over that fight towards the end. But his face, it showed a whole different story. He had so much damage on his face. Hendricks landed some shots. And let's not forget, Hendricks was full of all types of performance-enhancing drugs. That guy was just, he was on everything. He was shredded. Yeah. You saw what happened with that guy's career. He completely fell off after that. And GSP was natural.
I'm thinking, has there any fighter out there that's been how Habib is undefeated? What about that fight against Gleison Tibau? What do you think? Do you think he won that fight against Gleison Tibau?
It was a close fight, right? Yeah. So to my remembrance, I think I had him winning that fight. I remember him. It's ringing a bell to me. That was a close fight. I remember Tibau gave him his probably the best run for his money, right? I remember that was a closely contested match. I think Khabib still won that fight though, to my remembrance. But so I would have to run the tape back.
So he's the only guy really that has no question mark in terms of being undefeated. Well, other than Adesanya. Adesanya is
but Adesanya is just getting started.
Vettori, Adesanya, that is true. And Adesanya versus Vettori was a little close.
Yes, very close. Very close.
So close fight.
Really
close fight. I saw that fight.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so far really Habib
Vettori's a kickboxer too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he is. For sure he's a kickboxer.
Vettori's a kickboxer.
And he's been knocked out unconscious. On the kickboxing scene, he's been put unconscious. Actually, the guy that who knocked him out in kickboxing, you guys should look him up. I believe he might be making an MMA transfer over to MMA or something. There's something going on with him. But that guy's a tough fighter, bro. That guy's a tough dude. The guy that knocked him out, he's a nasty striker.
Yeah, Alex Pereira. That's the guy. I saw on Joe. he said that he's again. I never really saw the fight fully, but he said that he was beating the guy, but his last fight he was like robbed, so he felt like he needed to finish the guy, and because he put himself at risk, he ended up getting finished. Again, I don't know if that's true, but that's according to what Adesanya said on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at this guy, Alex Pereira. Yeah, I heard that too. That I think he was it training? He trained with Anderson Silva before the Adesanya fight. He was just training
before the fight.
Yeah.
Prepare himself for Adesanya, and Silva did well for Adesanya. He lost that, but I thought he did pretty well for an old guy.
Yeah. And look, Pavlov says Adesanya is only getting started, but he's already almost 31. That's correct. Because he got in the game kind of late. I mean, he is 19-0. I mean, I guess, but I'm talking about as far as big name wins, he's only won. Okay, Yoel Romero, and first off, that fight was. I mean, really, is that even a feather in his cap? I mean, that fight wasn't even a fight. Okay, so he beat Yoel Romero, whatever. The Robert Whittaker fight, that was his biggest fight to date. Period, in my opinion. That was his stamp, right? He took out the champion, won the belt, he got that knockout. All right, Kelvin Gastelum. That was a war, and he really dug deep, and he showed that he was the better fighter. He took that fight in the 5th round. Okay, Gastelum, Whittaker. Those are two big wins on his resume. Anderson Silva fight, that wasn't impressive at all. First off, he should have went out there and knocked out Anderson Silva. He went out there and played a little pitter-patter game, and he won a decision. Nothing impressive about that at all. The Derek Brunson fight, very impressive. Styled on Brunson, on the feet. Those are three big wins. That's it. The Marvin Vettori fight was a fight that could have won either way, but he probably won that fight, and that's it. And then if you look at his first 11 fights, his first 12 fights, almost all these guys are like guys that are like they're not even on the level. These are guys that are like very, very low level type fighters. So he was a kickboxer that transferred over to MMA and started fighting, getting polished up, cleaning up his game, and he was fighting all these guys that were nobodies, which whatever. Khabib did that as well, too, in the beginning of his career, too. The guys weren't that big in the very beginning, even though they probably were tougher over in Russia. But whatever. Israel whooped all these guys up, and then he had a split decision against Vettori. Brad Tavares fight, whatever. He did whoop up Brad, but Brad Tavares took out Brunson. Anderson Silva fight was not that impressive to me. Gastelum fight was impressive. It was a close fight, impressive. Came down to that last round. And then Robert Whittaker, and that's it. Now think about the guys that you really talk about that are like some of the fucking top-notch guys. They got a little bit more on their resume than that, man. You got to have a couple more big wins than that. So that's why I say Israel Adesanya is just getting started because, in my opinion, he needs like 4 more big wins, 3-4 more big wins, and then we're talking about Israel Adesanya is like, this is the guy, he's running the game. We need more victories, and more knockout victories too. Let's not forget the win he's coming off. Like I said, the Yoel Romero fight was not impressive, man. That was on him too. That was on him just as much as Romero. They didn't want to engage.
And he's gonna fight Costa, who's a savage, and that's a dangerous fight. But what's crazy is Habib is I didn't even realize. Well, I kind of realized this, but Habib is the same age as Adesanya. Habib's like, it sounds like he might be retiring soon. Like if he beats Justin Gaethje, maybe he fights Conor again. Maybe he doesn't.
We'll see. You know what? It's really complicated to tell right now, man. The guy's like losing his father. Who knows where he's gonna be, bro? After that whole situation happens, he might have so much pent up energy from that whole situation. He might. It's hard to sit still when you're going through something like that. So he might want to start fighting again like crazy. You know what I mean? I heard, he's ready to fight. He's not even worried about his dad's situation. He's training. He says, I'm professional. He's ready to step in the octagon at any time. So, there was a lot of rumors here and there, but none of that was really concrete. He's young still, bro. There's really no saying that he steps away from the game, in my opinion.
So he could be like the Floyd. You think he's going to be like the Floyd Mayweather of MMA?
He could be. He could kind of be coming, in and out, still holding, keep doing his thing, keep winning every fight that he steps into. No, I mean, listen, no. As far as if you're comparing him to Floyd Mayweather, as far as a record goes, that might not be real at all because Justin Gaethje's right around the corner.
No.
Justin Gaethje's right around the corner, man. Justin Gaethje has the recipe.
That's true. And no, I was gonna say that going back to UFC 250. Most likely Amanda, I don't know what the percentage is. I feel like it's a 90% chance Amanda Nunes beats Felicia Spencer. And mind you, I like Spencer. I do like her. Like you, I'm kind of hoping for the upset. But I do see Amanda kind of beating it pretty handily. I do see her like surviving it, but like I see Amanda just kind of winning a lopsided decision. But I'm like, yo, who's Amanda gonna fight next at featherweight? Like Megan Anderson is Megan Anderson just gonna sit there?
Yeah, she's the only other one that's up and coming really right now. The featherweight division it's in the stone age as far as the division goes. So.
And what do you think about Kayla Harrison? Like, you think Kayla Harrison?
Oh, she's good. She's good.
You think she could come down to 145 and go to the UFC featherweight division?
What do you mean calm down? Doesn't she fight at 145?
I thought she was at 155.
You're talking about the judoka girl fighting over at
Harrison. I think she fights at 155.
I thought she was a featherweight fighter for the World Series of Fighting.
Let me just check right now. Oh my God! It's showing online that her weight is 160. No, it says weight 155. Let me see what she fights at.
155.
Yeah, women's lightweight championship bout, 2019 PFL women's lightweight. She fights at 155. She's pretty big, and she's only 5'8".
She fights at 155 over there. Wow.
Yeah, dude, but I mean, she's jacked as hell. So, but still, like 5'8". So that means she walks around at 170. But she also has like huge arms. So. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she does. You're right, man. You know your stuff, bro. You're on point with that. Yeah. Lightweight fighter, bro.
She would actually have to cut like muscle, and she'd have to cut muscle to get down to 145.
She could do that. She could easily do that. Listen, let me tell you what. It's very easy to lose muscle. First off, all you guys know that shit. You're working out. All you have to do is cut out the weights, cut out the protein. You'll lose a lot of muscle quick. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that right now as we're going through this whole pandemic. If you're not going to your gym regularly, and you're not lifting weights, and you're not drinking protein shakes, you'll lose muscle quick. She could easily do it. But yeah, she's a stud fighter. I'll tell you what, she's not Ronda Rousey. Don't think she's Ronda Rousey. In my opinion, she's way tougher than Ronda Rousey. That's a girl that has the judo background, but she can eat a shot. She's tough. I mean, obviously we haven't really seen her in there with the best of fighters, but I think she has a way more realistic chance of taking Amanda Nunes out than Ronda Rousey ever did. I'll tell you that.
But in my opinion, this would be the problem. Is let's say she goes down to 145. I mean, I don't think it makes sense to throw her to like Amanda right away. She would probably beat like Megan Anderson, then she would beat Felicia Spencer, then she would fight Nunes, right? Or you think she would just come down and just immediately fight Nunes? I mean, I don't know.
I think if she wanted to, she could easily call that shot that she wanted to come over to the UFC. If she was reasonable with her contract, I don't see any reason why the UFC wouldn't automatically sign her and give her a featherweight championship fight, a championship match, because she's already proven she's an amazing fighter. She has Olympic credentials. She's 7-0. I mean, the UFC loves girls like this. I mean, look at Ronda Rousey. They love girls like that. And there's no question. You can't question her skills.
Yeah.
She's nasty. And there's no other opponents in that division. And the UFC is obviously trying to keep that division alive. I mean, they're still making matchups like the one that we're going to watch in the main event this weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you think is the probability that that Spencer pulls out like some Hail Mary submission or takes her or waits till Amanda, waits till like the 5th round and Amanda's tired and then she takes her down and submits her? What do you think? Or just, any kind of crazy, what do you think are the chances?
I think it's very, very low probability. But I talked about this in my breakdown video too. I said I remember specifically watching that Kat Zingano versus Amanda Nunes fight, and that was a fight where Kat Zingano really pressured her. She got in grappling exchanges, and she got on top of Amanda Nunes, and she really worked her ground and pound, and that's how she won that fight. And the only way I see Felicia winning this fight is if she makes it a dog fight. She's able to eat all of Amanda Nunes' shots, kind of wear her out a little bit, kind of mentally mess with Amanda, like she's eating those shots and keeps coming forward. She has to land a couple shots to get in her head a little bit and then get in those grappling exchanges. And like say she locks up a body triangle, starts to get on her back, and Amanda's flipping out because she hasn't been in that situation in a long time. And maybe Felicia starts beating her up a little bit. Maybe she doesn't even get the finish, but maybe she gets in the head of Nunes, and then Nunes starts to I don't see this happening, let's be honest, but I'm just saying if that happened, maybe she gets in the head of her, and then maybe she starts to work on, getting a decision.
Yeah, because, I mean, looking –
ain't going to happen.
Yeah, like looking at the odds, I feel like, you know, obviously it's low probability, but she still has a path to victory. It's not like I remember when Amanda Nunes fought Rocky. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about?
Raquel Pennington. Raquel Pennington.
Raquel Pennington. Like I felt Raquel, like I respect Raquel, but I don't think she had a path to victory in that fight. Like I couldn't see any path to victory. Oh, what's up? Did I lose you? Do you guys still hear me?
No, you're there. You're there. I'm talking to. You see me? I'm pointing at this guy. See him?
Yeah.
Chuz Fuzz.
Yeah. Do you think Felicia? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I see Felicia. I think she's so tough. Like after seeing her take cyborg shots, and I think obviously Amanda's really dangerous in round 1 and 2, but in the 5th round, I don't see like as long as she survives 1 and 2, I think she'll survive 3, 4, and 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? I was surprised that oh my God, what's her name? The tall Jermaine Durandamy. I was surprised she survived. And honestly, I felt like she was beating Amanda on the feet. Like, and I kind of thought that. I thought that Jermaine was going to beat Amanda on the feet. So I thought that Jermaine had a real shot, but then Amanda, went the takedown route. I think she even rocked Amanda a couple times on the feet, and then Amanda just immediately took her down.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm excited, man. UFC 250. We've been running right now for 2 hours and 10 minutes. You guys know what time it is. I'm probably going to start closing down the show. I'm going to let Arseny and Will hit some closing statements, and then I'm going to shut it down after that. So you guys go ahead. Arseny, you hit them up, or Will, whoever wants to go first.
All right, I'll go, man. And it's gonna be a great card, man. It's gonna be a profitable card with a teller. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Good stuff. All right, brother. And hey, for everyone that's listening right now, hey, just real quick, Fight Companion is going down Saturday night. Fight Companion. Everyone that's listening right now, Fight Companion for the main card. It's 9 p.m. I'll see all you guys for the Fight Companion. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah. I'll jump on too.
Nice. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Corey Sanhagen, was for me, it's a really big contender for bantamweight, and if really he can pull this off against Aljo Main Sterling, I think it is. And I think he can very, he can. I heard earlier that he's similar to Dominic Cruz in a lot of ways. In his fighting style, he looks like little of Dominic Cruz, and talks like Dominic Cruz, and he's a really good fighter.
Yep.
Yeah, footwork and everything. And
you're going with Corey in that fight?
Actually, of course. I'm going to repeat this video and watch Corey. If he wins this Saturday, I'm going to repeat, and I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to hurt myself, choosing over Aljo Main Sterling.
All right.
It's going to be a good fight.
Will, man. You heard it from Will.
It's going to be.
All right, Will. Well, Will, I know where I'm going to find you, man. I hope to have you join the show, man. Fight Companion. I'll see you Saturday night, man. We'll enjoy the fights together, man. Join the show. All right, brother.
Sure, bro. Take care.
All right, Will. I'll see you then. All right. Heard it from Arseny and Will. They always like to stop in, man, and it's a pleasure to have them every time they come, man. Enjoy those guys hopping on the show. They know what they're talking about in regards to the fight, so it's always a good conversation with them. Of course, you guys know the show is always open to everybody. Anyone that's watching the show right now, the show is always open to you guys. I post a link periodically, but just remember that if you're listening now, the show's open to you guys. Come in. We could talk everything UFC related, UFC 250. We had a great show tonight. First and foremost, we had Eryk, your boy, Anders. Big fan of that guy, so it was awesome having him on. And then how about the legend, Tim Sylvia? Tim Sylvia coming on the show. If you guys didn't catch those interviews, go run the tape back. You guys can check both those interviews out. And, Tim Sylvia, he has screws popping out of his arm and whatnot. He has a GoFundMe. That guy deserves it, man. That guy, he built the UFC. He's one of the guys that helped build the UFC. Off his back. That guy was an OG in the game. And, I think he deserves some help with that, and he's a real guy, a real legend, a guy that should be a Hall of Famer. So it was an absolute pleasure to chat it up with him. And as I already talked about with you guys, the Fight Companion show will be taking place for the main card. I think it's at 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. You guys tune right back in right here, and it'll be a lot more exciting, man. This fight night, we're going to make it exciting. I'm going to have some people popping in. I'm going to get some special guests for us, and I'm going to be pouring up. So if you guys are pouring up too for the card, let's pour some drinks up. Whatever you guys do, smoke, whatever. It's all good. We got a stacked card, UFC 250. Think about that card, stacked. We'll pop things off with that Sean O'Malley fight. So Brian Kelleher, that's a fight that a lot of you guys are looking forward to. Cody Stamann versus Brian Kelleher. Just to touch upon that too, man. There was a couple little crybabies in my chat that were all butthurt because I was saying whatever I said about Kelleher. If you guys haven't caught on, I like to bust balls a little bit. I like to joke a little bit, although I'm kind of serious also, but I like to keep it real with you guys. Everything that's going on this show, I want to be 100% transparent with you guys. I don't need I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, you should keep that on the down low and don't bring all those things up and try to be more professional." That's not what I'm about over here, man. I'm about being transparent. Everybody that's part of the show that wants to know about what's going on behind the scenes and whatnot, I think it makes it more exciting, man. I'll tell you guys, the guy stiffed me. He was supposed to come on the show, and the guy, he let it get to his head that he thinks he's a big timer now. And I'm going to tell you guys. So, that's what the teller is about. For those of you guys that don't realize that. And, not to be like, an a-hole or whatever, but, a couple of dudes in the YouTube chat ain't going to change the person I am. But again, don't take it and don't be so serious. Don't take it like that. You know what I mean? I'm just busting balls, joking around. And shout out to everybody that messaged in the comments that were supporting me, laughing about it, and are excited, that's excited to see that fight take place now, because, not only is that whole situation happen with Kelleher, but Cody Stamann lost his brother. Cody Stamann, he's fighting with a heavy heart. For those of you guys that don't realize, he's fighting with a heavy heart. His little brother, 18 years old, had a sudden death. And that's a kid that used to love to watch his older brother fight. So I'm really rooting for Cody Stamann in that spot. So, with all that being said, I think you guys know what time it is. Before I sign out, Fight Companion, 9 p.m. Make sure you guys are all there. It's going to be an epic show, 9 p.m. Let's watch UFC 250 together. All right? Signing out, the teller.